Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Say what's up in the stream chat so I know you're here. Great news for today. Good morning. Who we got in here? Anybody from Webull? What's going on, guys? Just waiting for a couple of people to pile in. What's going on? Waiting for some people to get in here before I do all the talking. But yeah, we called this in advance. Anybody that was with us in the live stream yesterday, we bought 42, and we are riding this out now. That's the whole reason we bought 42. It's the whole reason we bought 42. I'll be right back. What's going on, guys? Hopefully my audio's alright. Just waiting for a couple people to get in here. Hey, what's up? Ego, welcome to the stream. Did you come from Webull or you just found me through YouTube? Search. Cool graph thing? Thanks. How'd you end up here? You came through Webull, or were you just browsing the tube? We've been getting some good callouts here. Just taking a look at the graph and analyzing everything. So if you feel like you're gonna leave the stream and you want to come back, don't forget to sub, just so that you find me again. It's not a large channel, so very easy to get lost in the mix. But I'll just start talking now, just so that people start, not leaving. Anyway, yesterday live on stream, we were somewhere in this area, just taking a look at this downtrend here. When you take a look at when this downtrend started on the 9th at about 3 p.m. and continued for near 30 hours straight, and we never broke out of this channel. So when you look at that, the only way we really get freed from this downtrend is if we break out somewhere, right? The initial thought was 50s, because really when you're coming down from 60 and you're not even on negative news, there's really no reason to dip below 50. Knowing the value of Dogecoin, knowing where we're at right now, there was no reason to dip below 50. But people are still selling off from the SNL event, and there's just a ton of selling pressure. A ton of people holding the bag in the 70s, looking for an opportunity to get out. And people just getting nervous, right? So when we did finally get down to 50s, we tried it a ton. We dipped below, rejected it, and kept trying to recover from it. But there was still so much selling pressure, so many people panicking trying to get out, so many people worried that they were going to get burned even more, that once we hit under here, which is what we called too in advance, that if we went under 40s, we would get stuck under 40s for a while, because it would just be so, the orientation of where we're going next would be so bearish. Everybody's going to start panic selling even more. And when you're under 50, that's kind of our mental level. If you think of it like when we're above 50, everyone thinks we're going up. And then when we dip below 50, everyone starts to naturally think we're going down. And for that reason, then you have to work not only against the sellers and get more buying pressure, but then you also have to make people feel like we're going back up. So really to get that whole group of people to swing back to the upside becomes even harder under 50 than it would have been if we bounced off of 50. So anyway, we stayed in the channel unfortunately and kept dipping for hours under 50 cents. Once we got to this point here, we saw some resistance at around the 45 level, which we did expect. Our levels we drew out, if I can remember correctly, were 48, 46.75. Then we had 46-ish, but not too much going on at 46. But then our next key levels were 45, and then like 42 and 40. Our guess was, just due to all the good news that we actually have on Dogecoin, that we wouldn't actually make it down to 40. That would be best case scenario, to buy a really good dip and hold. But so we had this purple thing here, which showed our area of value to buy once we got down there. And right above it, we had a green one going from 42 to 45. So 42 to 45 was like our good dip buy area, and then 42 to 40 was our sweet spot to buy a dip. So we were just waiting for it to come down to us, and it got really close. It spiked, held at 45, then it jumped all the way down here to 42, which is where we ended up buying the dip. And then it bounced back up and it rode 45. Once we started gaining traction and holding support at 45, we were right about here. And once we did this next rejection, I said, this is make or break right now. Either we keep trading sideways and heading down for the next 12 hours, or if we can recover here and regain traction and start supporting 45 again, we can actually start trading sideways and break out of here. And that's what my thumbnail was for yesterday on my YouTube video. We were right about here, and this arrow was already here. So our prediction was, if we can gain traction at 45 and hold our support, we can use this opportunity to trade sideways and exit out of this downtrend that had been going on for about 30 hours so far. So that was our hope, and we ended up breaking out. After I fell asleep, we did end the stream, and I just said keep an eye on it, because if we dip below this, you might want to consider looking for a sell somewhere closer to where we bought, because maybe, you know, we made a good play, but we were wrong. But the goal was to just hold here, have bought here, or even here, and just hold throughout and see where we go. Now, the reason we also wanted to buy this dip was because if we do break out, you know, we're selling off out of panic, which means this is an overreaction sell, which means as soon as it ends, we rebound. So if you can buy the low, buy the dip, and get close to the bottom, it's almost guaranteed that as soon as the panic cools off, you're in profit. No matter how much profit that is, you bought at the bottom. Hopefully my audio is okay. Hello, testing. Yeah, I think it is. And so, sure enough, we bought here. People who missed bought in 45s or bought this next dip right at 43, which is just great price value, right? This is where we had our green area. Maybe I should move my... I kind of want to put that green thing back. What was it, a rectangle? Yep. So this is what we had up yesterday. Basically just indicating this was our area of value. This is a great area to buy in. Anywhere in the 40s isn't bad, but our goal was to buy in the bottom half of 40s and ideally as close to 40 as possible, with the sweet spot being 40 to 42. And so if you got to buy in here, cool, especially if it's in the middle to low end. I personally didn't think it was going to go below 42, you know, because people want to buy 420 just because of the meme value. But I also didn't want to not get filled by being greedy and setting a limit order right at 42. So I told everyone hours in advance I was setting my limit order to 425. And so my limit order was set right here. And though Webull chart doesn't say we went to 425, if you look at Robinhood's chart, you can see we went right down to 420 and then we spiked back up. And so that's where we all bought. We bought 425. Those that missed 425 because they weren't in stream yet, they either bought 450 or they bought 430. And then we just assumed we'd ride this sideways. Best case scenario, if we could hold here, we'd ride this 45 support sideways, and that's how we'd break out of this 30-hour downtrend. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. If any of you were here from yesterday, definitely say what's up in the chat, or if you're new, same thing. By the way, we're going up here. This is really good. I was trying to hold off on all my explanations of what's going on until we get some people in here. But yeah, we're going up. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. I was just trying to hold off for a minute. I started losing my voice because I streamed for 11 hours straight yesterday, and it was my second stream ever, and I was not used to talking that much, so I'm drinking tea. Oh, my throat. But it was worth it. Exactly, bro. Welcome back, Advantage. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm glad we had that stream yesterday because we got to talk all of that through. We are headed to the moon now. Everything has gone according to plan. We ended up buying the 42 dip. If some people missed the 42, they bought the 43, or they bought in at like the 45, with the expectation that we'd trade sideways to break out of here. Sure enough, we did. We gained momentum on the 1 minute time frame. As I hoped, we ended up breaking above the 200 EMA to give us like some bullish momentum heading into this. And then on the 3 minute, thankfully, that line kind of moved out the way, so we didn't have to worry about that. We just had to get through this line. And we came crashing into it. What just happened? Okay. We came crashing into it, and we broke out. Sure enough, dipped down, and we're headed back up. And then, just like we talked about yesterday, since SpaceX had already announced a Doge 1 mission and that it was going to be fully funded by Elon Musk, and Elon owns SpaceX. Hey, what's going on, John? Welcome to the channel. Appreciate having you here. Just going over kind of what we looked at yesterday. We had a 11-hour stream, and so I've kind of been losing my voice. I'm drinking tea right now because my throat is on fire. I've never talked that long in my life. It was only my second stream ever. But yeah, we had an 11-hour stream, and we just went over our predictions for what was going to happen next. And we called it out right. Ended up buying the 42 dip. Waited for the 42 dip. All the way from here, we were looking for a 42 dip. And we waited hours for it. Grabbed it. And then we planned out what was going to happen next. Including the Elon tweet. Because it was inevitable. So, the goal was really knowing that Elon was probably going to tweet something soon. Being that he had already tweeted that SpaceX was accepting or allowing Dogecoin to fund their mission. It was just inevitable, being that he is like the face of Dogecoin, that eventually, and probably short term, he would also make some kind of announcement about Dogecoin for Tesla. That's just the obvious next step. You have to think about that. If he says we're going to accept it for SpaceX, the next thing is Dogecoin, is Tesla. But when he made that announcement about SpaceX, because everyone was still panic selling so hard, the price did not even bump up at all. Like, nobody factored in what he said, which meant we just needed to look for a really good dip, and that was going to be our like insanely good buy opportunity. If everyone's still so focused on panic selling, we just take advantage of that and buy the absolute low. And then once the panic sell cools off and the price starts to rebound, and then people start to factor in what he said, we've bought the dip, and no matter what after that, we're going to be super deep in profit. But then on top of that, we already started to recover. But then this morning, he actually sent out this. Do you want Tesla to accept Doge? Literally this morning, after we talked about it all yesterday, he sent out this tweet. Do you want Tesla to accept Doge? 2 million votes. About 80% yes. And because of that, oh, hello background. Because of that, we took off from 46 cents all the way to 55 cents. Keep in mind, this is the 1 minute time frame, by the way. Look at these candles. But this is what we talked about for 11 hours in our stream yesterday. Taking advantage of the 26 to 30 hours of panic selling that was going on here, predicting, or not predicting, but planning where we thought it should stop based off what we know, and that was no lower than 40 cents. So obviously our dip buy, best case scenario, would be 40 cents. But we know that 420 is the meme, so people would probably buy up 420. But if you actually want to get filled, you don't set your limit buy at 420, you set it a little above. So I set mine 425, and I set that when we were in here, hours before we got anywhere near the dip. And so that was all live streamed, and everybody set theirs at like 430. We came down, barely got filled. According to Robinhood, for that moment we touched like 4.19 for a split second. It just grabbed us and it never came back, which is why we wanted to be careful with that limit buy, because if we got greedy and set 420, we might not have got filled and we would have just got left and missed the whole dip. But anyway, we grabbed that, then we rebounded and we were holding the 45 line, which was one of our main resistances. As you can see, we had already charted this out when we were up here. We charted this out. This would be our best case scenario buy area, 40 to 42, and this would still be our sweet spot, anywhere especially in the middle to low end. And as we thought about it more, we said probably just not get greedy, because we started to slow down our downward movement here, and we're like, let's just buy up the middle. But still, we held 45, which was one of our key levels. We held 45 super strong right here. So as this started to form, we started to just analyze, and we're like, there's two scenarios here. Either we keep trading this range and we head down for hours and we have to deal with, are we heading to 30s, which shouldn't even happen. So I thought what was going to end up happening was if we couldn't hold, we trade down, and this is where we'd end up before we broke up. Us, 5 p.m. to midnight if we had to wait this out, just because of how far in the future this point is. Obviously, we don't want to wait. So the goal was, if we could hold a line here, if we could hold 45 support and trade sideways and gain momentum sideways, we could break out from there. And so in my thumbnail yesterday, this was cut out because we hadn't gotten this far. So this was gone, all this price action was gone, and we just had the arrow. This was our hope. And so as we started to hold here, this started to look a little negative, but we actually started to make higher lows, which started to show us a good sign that this could actually be where it was going to happen. Because as you start seeing higher lows, that shows that, some bullish momentum. And so here was our lowest low, and then we had a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and so on. Our main problem, despite all of this looking good, and us kind of trading sideways, trying our best to respect this, was we were having problems all day. Didn't mean to do that. We were having problems all day with breaking above and holding above the 200 EMA. All the way down, we kept getting slapped in the head and not recovering. Or we dip above it and just get faked out and dump all the way back down all day. And as this got lower, we just started to get crushed in our channel, lower and lower and lower. So this is why I was a little concerned, because that's bearish. And even as we tried to trade sideways here, we almost didn't make it. As you see, we kept falling out even of our strong support channel here. But then once we start to see this, once we got here, I said it's all doomed unless we can reject, come back up here, and recover back to the 45 line. And if we do, that means we're probably headed out, finally. And sure enough, we rejected all of this, and we ranged back up into the channel, and we started holding 45 again. And so at that point, I said, all right, guys, I'm going to end stream because it looks good. So I'm going to use this chance to take a break, and I'll catch you guys after we're out. And sure enough, and then I just passed out. I fell asleep. I streamed for 12 hours. I was done. But sure enough, we got some momentum. We ended up breaking above the 200, and then we held above it here. Perfect timing, getting that bullish momentum above the 200 EMA, and that gave us enough to break out finally. And we broke up to like 49, which we know is actually one of our resistances. For some reason, resistances tend to be 1 cent below the actual 10-cent markers on Dogecoin. So it's like 69 and 70 is resistance, or 49 and 50, 59 and 60, 39 and 40. It's really strange. So yeah, we bounced off 49, and then all this happened. But also in the stream yesterday, for those that just jumped in, we said the reason we wanted to buy this dip and the reason it shouldn't be going any lower is because, for one, we shouldn't be going under into 30s because of all the good things we already know about Dogecoin. We know it's being accepted different places. We know Newegg.com, you can buy stuff with Dogecoin, so on and so forth. But we also know that Elon just made the announcement that SpaceX mission was being fully funded with Doge, and the mission is Doge 1. And you could tell that that wasn't factored in because when he made the tweet, no one even reacted. We just kept selling off, which meant we were still in such a heavy panic sell, an overreaction panic sell, that we were headed down. And that tweet, even though it was huge, no one reacted to it. So that means if we sell at the bottom of this, we're buying an absolute dip, and as soon as people are done panic selling, then it's going to be factored into the price, and we just automatically bounce up. So buying a dip here was just a huge play. So we bought that dip. Sure enough, after that, people stopped panic selling, and it started to be factored in, so we started to move up. But we also said if he made that announcement, this is why that's huge, because Elon owns more than one company. Elon also owns Tesla. So if he announces, as the face of Dogecoin, that SpaceX is going to be funded by Dogecoin, what does that mean next? Obviously, the next step would be for him to consider Tesla, you being able to buy Teslas with Dogecoin. And when he makes that announcement, that's what's going to spike us to the moon. So buy the dip now during this overreaction, so that when he announces we're going to be funded by Dogecoin, you get the spike. And sure enough, he made that announcement here just a couple hours ago, this morning. Do you want Tesla to accept Doge? And that just in itself spiked us from here all the way up about 10 cents, from 46 to 55. Blew through everything here. And now, also what we said yesterday was it's going to be a slow grind back up due to all the panic sellers that didn't get out here still. They're going to be taking profit. If they're holding bags at 70, 75, they're going to be taking profit as we move up to cut their losses at whatever point they believe we're not going to get past. We're going to have a very hard time getting past 55 and 60 because on the way up, all these people that are stuck at 70s are in negative on their accounts, and they're going to want to cut their losses. So that's why we rejected off 55 so hard and came back down. That's why we're back under 50. Because at this point, all the bag holders were like, ooh, a spike that I didn't even know we were going to get or think we were going to get. And so they're taking their profit or cutting their losses now. But keep in mind, taking profits and cutting losses is not like a permanent bearish movement, which means we're going to keep getting dips, we're going to keep spiking up, and we're going to keep dipping, and we're going to keep spiking up, and we're going to keep dipping. So if you're scalping this or day trading this, this is your time. You wait for these spikes, you sell at a clear resistance level, which is going to be usually any multiples of 5 or 10. So you're 50, you're 55, you're 60, you're 65. You wait till we hit the price and expect a rejection. You can sell it there, buy the dip. Wait for it to go up, sell it, buy the dip. That's just going to keep happening. Robbie Stocks, where is Doge headed? Hey, good morning, dude. So Doge is, like I said yesterday, and I still have the same sentiment. Doge is headed 60s. We have been on track for 60s. We just had to get through the sell-off period. 60s is where we belong right now. No lower than 50. Anything under 50 is a discount. If you're trying to play 100% safe, anything under 50 for me is a discount. Like I'd be averaging down in 40s. Anytime we're touching in 40s. Now I don't really like 49 and 48 so much, but honestly, just anything in 40s is a discount. And the lower down in 40s, the more I'd buy-in. Because when you consider everything that's going on, and you consider we're still in panic sell mode, we're not going to see these prices forever. And we don't want to be. I don't know if you remember, but a couple days ago, right, when we're spiking up and we're comfortably in 60s and we're heading towards 70, everyone's wishing, man, I wish I had bought at the 30 and the 40s. And we didn't think we were going to see that again. But we got this massive overreaction dip, and we're spiking out of it quickly. Anything in 40s is discount, especially low 40s, because we're headed to 60. And 50s, low 50s even, like at 50 is kind of a discount as well. But if I'm giving my best advice to where someone would just buy and hold and not have to worry about ever seeing red, 40s is discount. If your average is like 50 to 55, you're still all right. Anything higher than that is a little bit of a high average, I'd say. Because if you think we're going to be cruising at 60, if your average is like 50 or 55 or 50, I'm sorry, if your average is like 55 or 57, you're kind of high up towards where we should be. So once we do touch 60, if you're only 3 cents in profit, that's why if you are, I would probably average down. Yeah, Doge chart isn't looking, yeah. So, dump from 55 to 48. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It was an overreaction. This is all overreactions. People, like I said, people are taking profit. Hey, what's going on, HDHD? Good morning. Welcome back. Don't forget, guys, like the stream so we can get a couple extra faces. Hey, I appreciate that. Someone just clicked it. Every time someone likes, literally, we get 2 to 3 more viewers. And so, get to help a couple more people out because my stream's very, very small. So yeah, this is just people taking profit. We're cutting losses that got burned way higher up, and we're going to keep on seeing that every single time we spike. Even though this was incredible news, see these massive red candles? These are people that got stuck at a high price and were looking for an opportunity to get out because they're scared. They're looking at their account, they're down $2,000, their average is 72 cents. And they're like, when the heck is this going to bounce back up to something where I can sell at and maybe lower this $2,000 loss to $1,000? And so when they saw this massive spike to 55, they're like, close trade, get me out. And that's going to keep happening until those bag holders are gone. That's just what happens. Those people holding the bag, every single time they see a spike to a resistance level, they're probably going to close. And so we're going to reject hard. Hey, I appreciate that, John. But the good thing for us, whether you're a bag holder or not, if you are a bag holder, don't panic sell because we're going up. If you're a bag holder and you have more capital, this is your time to average down. You should have averaged down here. And yeah, I don't even know if my average down would be 48. But for me, anything close to 40 is an average down opportunity. Or buy the dip opportunity. 40 to 45 is a no-brainer. 46 to 50 is still discount, but you might see some red at times when stuff like this happens. If you might average down 49 and we might dip 48, how does that make you feel? It's not as great of a discount. But the thing is, we are going up. There's no reason not to go up. This is all just people being nervous. And so when you take your emotions out of it and you evaluate what we're actually looking at, it's just very obvious that this is a discount. As of now. Now, that's our best analysis that we can do based off what we know. Obviously, people sometimes can surprise us. Sometimes things don't make sense. Just like this right here didn't quite make sense. Why did we sell off for literally 30 hours without breaking the trend down? That's crazy. So sometimes you can be surprised by momentum. So if people really if we still have more panic sellers, who knows? Maybe we do go back down and we see 40 again. But that's why you buy close to 40. So if it happens, you're still cool. Because 30s would be absurd, especially with the announcements. Like, you have to think to yourself, if we're about to be able to buy Teslas major purchases with Dogecoin, why in the world would Dogecoin be worth 30 cents? Doesn't quite make sense. And if we're really going to make Dogecoin our primary cryptocurrency for everyday trading and purchasing and selling, why would Dogecoin be worth 30 cents? Especially if off just an SNL appearance video, we touched 74. That was just a little bit of hype about Elon being on TV and saying Dogecoin. That's not even anything practical. So this is clearly an oversell. And that's why we have this here. I'll just drag this back over. This forever, until we have reason to believe that 30s is our value, like legitimate reason to believe that 30s is our new area of value. 40 to 42 is our sweet spot for buying a dip, and then 43 to 45, obviously the lower the better in there, but anywhere in that range is like, if it's in there and I have extra money, I'm probably gonna buy. Now 45 to 47, to each their own. I'm not going to recommend above 45, just because I don't like getting emotional at any point in my trading, and it's possible that as we move around, our lows could be like 46. So I'm not going to buy in 47, 48, 49 unless I'm not in yet. If I'm not in yet, we're still under 50, so maybe I do 75% scale in and hope later we'll dip maybe to 45 before we bounce back up and I can throw the other 25 in. But like, if I'm not in yet, I don't want to miss the whole thing, because there's a chance we don't come back down. You know what I mean? But if I'm in, like, I'm trying to get in here. But yeah, that's where we're at. For those of you that are just popping in, this is the tweet from this morning. We talked about this yesterday. After the SpaceX announcement, this was inevitable, and this was going to be our main catalyst for a spike upward. Was going to be Elon Musk contemplating accepting Dogecoin for Tesla. And this morning, a couple hours ago, he tweeted out, do you want Tesla to accept Doge? And that's why we saw a spike of 10 cents instantly. Now that's just him asking the question. That's not him saying we accept it, right? So if we got a 10-cent spike instantly, despite being in a downtrend, right? We got this off him asking, do you want us to? Now imagine what happens when he says we are now accepting Dogecoin for Tesla. This thing probably, I mean, that's probably a 20-cent spike. Whether or not we hold 20-cent spike, that's probably an instant 20, 25-cent spike. And if we're at 50, that puts us right back to 75. And then what? We probably cool off a little as people take profit, but then we come back up. We do the cup and handle type thing. The announcement happens, we spike, we dip, and then we hold. Now here, this is still a good sign. Like I said, this is just people taking their profit. All the people that were looking for a little spike to cut their trades that were in up high, they cut their trades here. Anybody that bought in at 50, not thinking we were going below, and then got scared when we hit 40s, they cut their trade here. Anybody that had bought in like closer to 55, they cut their trade here and just broke even. So all that's going to happen, we sell off, we ride this trend line up, and maybe we mess around here, who knows, but I think we just come back out, because we really shouldn't be down here anyway. People are just still scared. So that's why it's so slow. But if you're patient and you just take your emotions out of it and think about all the things in our favor, like, there's no reason to panic that we're in 40s, because we have every reason to get out. Even if we touch 39, there's no reason to be 39. So if you know that, you're not scared. I'm still holding on 2 accounts at 70, and that's because I missed my sell. I would have liked to get out, obviously. I didn't want to hold down to 42. That would have been a massive sell and rebuy opportunity, right? I would have almost doubled my account. But I missed my sell, and I didn't really think we were going to go below 60s, but when we did, I'm just like, whatever, we're going to come back. This is just an oversell event. So on 2 of my accounts, I'm still holding at like 69. And on one, I bought the 42 dip because I did sell on that one. So, hey guys, I appreciate the likes, by the way. Every time you like, we are getting more viewers. So we're helping more people out. And the more people we can help out and take their emotions out of it, the more people that buy Doge, and the faster we go up. Because it's inevitable. It's not like I'm giving false information just to pump Doge. But the faster we can get people to realize what's actually going on here, the faster what's going to happen happens. So we're at 4 likes. I do appreciate those likes. We've got some new people in the stream. Welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to try not to keep repeating myself for the sake of those that are already in the stream, because I don't want them to leave. And because I don't want to lose my voice any more than I already have from that 11-hour stream yesterday. I now have tea. But yeah, you can just see here, we're recovering from this overreaction. We shouldn't have even broken back below 50. But, like I said, profit takers. Panickers and profit takers. And people that are trying to cut their trades. So, let me get off the 5-minute, because that's really boring. I prefer the 3. So, we're just messing around with the 200 EMA on the 3. And we've also got it on the 1, and we've got it on the 5. So, as long as we're bullish enough to break through this, we won't have any problems. Price targets for today, definitely back to 55 minimum. I don't see a world where we don't get back to 55 very quickly. Honestly, as soon as we can get past this, there's no reason we don't start trending back to 55 instantly. Everyone, I think, just wants to know, and keep in mind too, a lot of people, when this started happening, when we started our sell-off, so we had the first sell-off, right, during the SNL event with the whales dumping and all the worst-case scenario stuff. We had this first sell-off. Had some smart people buy the 40 dip. Actually, I don't know if that dip buy was smart, but you know, the risk takers bought the first 40 dip. And then after people realized that we were losing steam and this is happening, and people are just like, all right, I'm out. What's next? You know, because a lot of the Doge supporters are just here for the hype. And so once the SNL event ended and it seemed like a dud, and then we recovered to 60 and we just kept selling off, a lot of those people, they're just like, all right, I'm gonna cut this. This isn't going anywhere. What's next? So we lost probably 25% of our supporters to alternative coins. So a lot of them are in Shiba Inu right now, and a lot of them are in SafeMoon, just looking for a pump. So the people that didn't really support Doge and believe in Doge, but they were just here for the movement, they left. The thing is, and that's why we had a slow burn and a slow recovery. Once we break back above 50 and we hold consistently and it looks like we're going up, especially if Shiba Inu and SafeMoon aren't doing anything, all those previous Doge supporters are going to come back to what they know, especially when it looks like we have hype again. So keep in mind, and with these things you need to think forward to realize what a good buy-in opportunity really is. So when you consider we just got the Tesla announcement and the SpaceX announcement, there's probably more announcements to come. We still have some mental hype of people thinking, what if Amazon accepts Doge? Yeah, you did 7. We still have that mental hype of what if Amazon accepts Doge payments, and realizing that even as we're recovering right now, we don't have like 25+% of our typical Doge supporters because they're in Shiba Inu right now, or SafeMoon. As soon as we can show that we're stable and we're going back up, and they see this hype again, they're going to sell those coins, especially if they're not moving at the moment, and they're going to at least some of their size over there, right? They might not sell their whole position, but they're going to start looking Doge again. So we get them jumping in on the upward momentum. Also, Doge is now shorted. So a lot of people, you know, Doge is shorted by, I know in part by other like short cryptos. I haven't really looked into that too much, but Anyway, we're bound to also have a short squeeze as well. So I think this next momentum swing is going to be massive, and nobody's really thinking about it. Also, thank you guys for coming to the stream. Appreciate all the likes as well. Each time someone likes, I do see it, and we also get a couple more viewers, which is how you probably got here. So if you could hit the like button, and maybe we'll hit 20. That would be pretty cool. Especially for my humble, small stream we have here. But yeah, what do you guys think? Does that make sense, or what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm just one person, that's my opinion, but I've been doing a pretty decent job. I realized just on my own, analyzing what was next, so I figured I'd kind of live stream my thoughts to others. Because a lot of the things that I was thinking ended up happening. So obviously I'm no like prophet or anything, but I just think a lot of times people, they don't take the time to really think about all the catalysts and what really should be moving the price of this. They just look at the price as it is right now and get emotional about it. Like, oh no, we're under 50, we're going down. Or oh, we're over 50, we're going up. But they don't think about the tweets, they don't think about the uses of Doge, they don't, you know, or they think we're going to $1,000 by next month. Why? Oh, you know, just cause. Like, I'm all about that, but at the same time, when it comes to actually putting a substantial amount of money into it and hoping for the best, I don't want to buy at like 70, thinking we're going to $1,000 when I'm going to need that to pay my next bill. Because by the time I take it out, it's probably going to be not $1,000 anymore. I'm getting messages from people about there being a gas shortage. Might want to look that up. I don't know what areas that affects, but fill up your tanks, and if you have any extra gas containers, if it's that bad, you might want to fill those up too. Unless you want to pay like $5+ a gallon, which you already do if you're over, you know, West Coast. So, F in the chat if you are. I couldn't imagine. Exactly, yeah. So, we'll see. This is our next thing we want to look at. I think this is kind of exciting. We're getting squoze into this area where we either, you know, if we keep respecting this uptrend line here, which has been formed, so everyone's looking at this. If we're looking at this, so are other people. So if we're going to respect this uptrend line, that means we're going to get up to this point and have to make a decision. Do we break through these barriers we have here with the resistance at 50, 49 to 50, and the 200 EMA and break out? Or do we get smashed down and have to mess around down here some more? If we break out, I think this is the last time we see under 50 for a while. And if you just zoom out a little bit and look at, let's go 10. Let's go something we don't usually do. So if you look at the price action zoomed out, let's do this. Let's actually delete our 50 line just so we can get a clear view of what's going on. So if we do this, you can kind of see the price action, how we went up, recovered a little bit, went really far up, dipped way overreaction dipped here, right? Worst case scenario overreaction dip. Then we recovered sharply, and then we did our second and usually final kind of overreaction correction dip from this. And then we did this. Now we're going to stabilize here for the rest of the way. And then that's kind of when you expect a curve up. Once we stabilize at the low, usually you see like a hard, because it's like physics almost, you know? What goes up must come down, what goes down must come up, but also the speed at which you come in usually reflects how hard the bounce off is going to be. And so if it's a hard bounce off, you like, see how steep we came in here? This is abnormal. And so we had a super hard correction. And then we have, like, since there was a super hard correction, we also have like a strong down. And then kind of a strong up. And you do that bounce thing, like it was a ball. But then once you get to this point here, this should be about the last curve, especially at this major level of 50. So if we can just break above this and kind of hold it, we should see a curve up. And when you look back, doesn't really look like there's much reason to go down. Look at the difference in price action back below 40. and just how it almost looks like a completely different time. Completely different, like, looks like this is like 1970s and this is 2020. Look at the candles here and everything. Literally at this marker, and then look at the difference here. Doesn't that look kind of strange? But you can just tell this is a different point in time, a different thought process in people. Less momentum, less people caring. Under 40. All these small candles. And as soon as we touched 40, everything just hypes up. But we're still in those candles here. I don't see us going back down to 30. Even though that in itself isn't an evaluation, like a technical analysis, I just think it's worth noting that we're clearly in like a different zone here. And I'm glad we broke out of this channel. This was torture. Let's move these back. Maybe I'll put these here. Oh, cyber attacks on the Keystone pipeline? I haven't heard about that. Also, what's up, James? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream, rather. HDHD, it's almost at $4 per gallon in Texas. Man. 7 said yes. James said 269 in southern Missouri. 269 is not bad. It's actually not bad. So this, I mean, obviously staring at the chart's not always exciting, and I'm not going to have stuff to talk about every single second. But basically what we're looking for now is a hold. Why do my lines, oh, I deleted my line. Looking for a hold above the 200 EMA, obviously, always, right? It's the main indicator of momentum, the 200 EMA. If you don't have one on your chart, put a 200 EMA on your chart if you want to change your trading. Because you can delete every other line on your chart. You can delete every support and every resistance line that you've ever drawn. Every trend line that you've ever drawn. I could go without every single line on here. Every single indicator. All I need, honestly, is a 200 EMA. Because what that does is it averages out price going back far. So it kind of gives you an idea of what your support area, your price range should be. Hey, appreciate that, John. Your 200 EMA it gives you an idea of what the price should be, like fair value at this time. And so if you look at that, and that's why people also use the VWAP indicator when they're day trading. You can't use it on crypto, it seems, but the volume weighted price average indicator, because it does that same thing, but a little better for day trading. But just in general, this goes back really far, depending on what time frame you're on. Gives you an average good deal price. So if you see yourself above that, that means that people are tending to be bullish. If you see yourself below that, people are tending to be bearish. And then you can look at other stuff. And then of course, if you're looking to go long, you would want to buy as close to that 200 EMA good value price as you could on the top side. If you're looking to short, you're looking to start shorting as close to it as you can on the underside. Once you see you're holding under it and about to go down. And it's just very simple. And just looking back at kind of how that indicator tells you things, and it also becomes like a support and resistance line as well. So when you start seeing, like here, the 200 EMA was with the actual resistance line, there's probably no way we're getting out of that. Unless we got a really bullish push here for some reason, we have 2 resistances to get past instead of 1, because people look at this as a support line and a resistance line. So they say, okay, if I'm underneath, maybe I buy a dip, and then once we get up to this line, I sell. Or if the price is really high and people want to buy in, they wait till it comes down and they buy at the 200 EMA. And that's why you see reversals at it. So that's why this keeps happening, because people sell at it. And when everybody's selling at it, you know, you go down. Okay, so this is looking good. Yeah, I think we break out of here, right here. Do I think Amazon will give the green light? Um, that's the question, isn't it? Now that announcement would be probably the biggest thing imaginable for Doge, and I see $2. Depending on exactly when they say it, especially if we're near 70 when they say it, I think we see close to $2. Now and that's because I feel like the Tesla announcement is like a $1 thing. I think value of Doge gets close to $1, maybe 90 cents, 80 to 90 cents comfortably if Tesla accepts Dogecoin. Um, but yeah, Amazon would be a bigger deal because not everyone here, like me personally, I think is a great announcement and it's great for the coin, but I'm not going to buy Tesla. I wouldn't with USD, not at this moment. And so why would I with Dogecoin, you know? So I'm like, cool, they're taking this coin serious, but I'm not buying a Tesla. So for me, it doesn't mean much personally. Now Amazon, everybody shops on Amazon. What is it? Probably 5% of, maybe 1% of people have a Tesla, but probably 75% of people use Amazon. So that's just a announcement that affects literally everybody. And then just depending on what the exchange rate is, I mean, people might start trying to figure out ways to get discounts by paying with Dogecoin, especially if if the exchange rate would end up being cheaper. Like if I could convert USD to Doge and I could end up buying something at a cheaper price, people are going to start trying to figure out stuff. So just because of that, the price of Doge has to go up, I think. Now, of course, Amazon might be a little smart and just say, all right, well, a Dogecoin is worth 50 cents, so something that would cost $20 will cost 40 Doge. But there's just so many things to think about. But I definitely think a Amazon announcement would get us close to $2, 150 minimum. At least temporarily. We might cool off, but I'm just saying. I'm thinking about spikes off hype. But do I think that we'll get the green light from Amazon? Like, I think we really have to stabilize first before Amazon wants to do something like that. They're such a massive company, and they already cut margins really close on certain things, like with the deliveries and such. They're probably thinking about it at this very moment, but there's just so much more to think about because you don't want to be exchanging goods with a really, really volatile currency that could decrease in value 50% after you make an exchange. So that's why I was saying the Tesla thing would be difficult because let's just say you buy a Model 3 for $45,000, right? It would be $45,000 USD. So you pay, let's just say Doge is $1. You pay 45,000 Doge instead. Well, if Doge is really volatile and Doge happens to drop because of whale sales back down to 75 cents, Tesla just lost 25% off of that deal until further notice. And then they have to hope it goes back up. So that's where the problem comes in. And that's why I said the Elon thing. I said Elon's probably thinking about it right now. This is what I said yesterday. I said Elon's probably thinking about it right now, and we should be looking for a tweet because the hype will come off that. But the thing is, how do we make it work? And that's also why Elon said if all the large shareholders of Doge sell off, he'll be fully behind it. Because they can literally manipulate the price themselves and screw up everybody's financials. So for a large corporation to feel comfortable accepting Doge as a payment, people can't be in control of the price like that. It needs to be stable. So that's what we're going to have to wait for Tesla to actually say yes. And we see a lot of whales selling off, so we might be getting there. This might be what sparked Elon to say, all right, we're getting close, and let's put out this tweet. Now, once Tesla does start, I think that will start a snowball effect. We might see other car companies announce they're accepting Doge, more online retailers. The more whales that sell too will get us closer to Amazon. I think Amazon will be the tough cookie, but if we get Amazon, you could pretty much say Doge has solidified itself as the coin. And at that point, if you're in at 42, we're moving. You're sitting on some profits for sure. The 3 a.m. upward trajectory is a result of Elon's tweet. Yep. Yes, it is. And that's exactly why we wanted to be in at the dip. Because if he announced the SpaceX thing, next thing, even mentally, we should have seen a spike just because people thinking he announced SpaceX, next he's going to announce Tesla. Like, we should have seen people trying to buy value there, but everyone was so focused on panic selling that they missed the opportunity. But we called this out yesterday. We were talking about it yesterday. And that's why we're in 42 and we just get to ride this up now. Yeah, agreed. The risk with Doge is there's no cap on the mining. Right. There's no cap on the mining. There's no real limit on the coin being created. But I feel like behind the scenes, that's in talks right now. It's got to be in talks. Because even as the makers of Doge, you have to realize even though you started your product as a meme, that it's caught on now and it's no longer really a meme. People are actually trying to transact with it. And so I feel like at this time, there's corporations coming to you saying like, all right, this is kind of serious now. Let's do this thing, but you need to make these two adjustments. Let's make an adjustment on the mining, coin distribution rate just a little bit. And I did hear a rumor that they're contemplating burning some coin, like implementing a burn rate to limit the supply, which if they do actually announce that, keep in mind that Dogecoin skyrockets yet again. So buying low, I'm not saying you have to hold forever, but I'm just saying if you want to be along for the ride, you want to be buying 40s. Because even if you buy 40s and we don't absolutely go to the moon for some reason, I mean, you're at least in profit because we're probably not coming back to 40s. This is looking good. Sorry. Yeah, we're probably not coming back to 40s. We're doing a little thing here, a little wraparound thing. We do this all the time, but I think we're going up. Just like this. Sell off, go under, come back up. Sell off, go under, usually come back up. Sell off, go under, come back up. Dogecoin tends to do that little pattern a lot. Might not come back up, but I mean, we've got so much momentum, I don't see a world where we don't. And we should be crossing 50 here. And then after that, we just see what happens. I don't know if we dip below 50 again for a while. If you're enjoying the stream, if I'm helping you out at all, or just anything, feel free to hit the like button. At least I'm noticing for live streams, it does bring a couple more viewers in each time someone clicks it. Like I get a spike. You can see here. Each time someone hits the like button, get a couple more people. So it has been working. I appreciate that. Someone just clicked it. Thank you. All right, here we go. We're messing with the 50. Yeah, we're pretty bullish now, which is good. I'm brand new to investing. Bought Doge at 9 cents. I consider myself lucky. Dude, hold that thing. Hold. Hold till we get to $1. There's no reason not to. If you sell at $1 and it goes to 150, whatever, you probably won't be mad at yourself. But yeah, hold that thing because there's so much potential. You don't want to cut yourself short. I think anybody that sells like at $1 or a little over $1 is probably good. But let's say this thing goes to 1,000, who knows? I mean, that'd be cool. But I think we're probably going to end up somewhere near like $1, $1.50. Came here for reassurance. Got it. Thank you. I liked and sub. This is great content. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm enjoying this. This is only my 3rd stream. Just started Monday night, and so far so good. It really helps being able to explain my thoughts out loud to people too, because then I can think about things a little more clearly as well. And so far we've been right, so I mean this is cool. I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. Oh yeah, Carson. Yeah, I'm glad you got that buy opportunity. Were you in at like 43? Is that when you bought in, or was it 45? I think it was 45. You got in 45, right? Ish. And good morning and welcome to the stream, everybody. All of those that aren't typing, I do see you though. Welcome. Did Joe bring you here? Alright, here we go. This is huge. We might just see a takeoff right from here, honestly. A lot of people are waiting for confirmation that we're just going to hold above 50. So we might just see a rocket right here. Wouldn't be surprised. But keep in mind, as much as we'd love to just take off and as much as we should be going right back to 60s right now. The thing is, we still have bag holders from 70s. All these people at 60 that bought here thinking we were still recovering and didn't sell, and all of these people, which, I mean, you see this volume here. There's a lot of selling off to do. So we're probably like okay, here we go. We're kind of rocketing as we thought, but we are probably going to have some trouble just for a bit as people sell as we go up. Still have some people to get out the way. Hey, child of God, welcome to the stream. Space Hoge. Soj, nice, I like that. Glad to have you. We are watching the takeoff. You joined at the right time. I assume you're holding? Would I be right to guess that? You're in and holding with your diamond hands? Yeah, so keep in mind, we do have a trend line here. We do now have a trend line here. This isn't perfect, but let me... It doesn't have to be perfect, but you get the idea. This is kind of the general trend everyone's respecting. So there's a scenario where we don't go straight up to the moon. We kind of mess around a little bit and mess around off this trend line, at least till we get about here. That's our next, we have to make a decision point. Do we fail this momentum up and we end up going sideways, or do we ride off of it? So that point would be at somewhere around, what time is it? 10 to 14, what is that, 2? Somewhere around 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. But I don't think we ride it out till then. I'm just saying that's our worst case scenario. I wish Webull showed in not military time. I hate having to convert that. Yeah, yesterday I didn't eat because I was streaming all day. I started my stream at about 8 a.m. and I streamed for 11 hours and I didn't eat until the stream ended. I forgot to eat. I was super involved. Hey, rocket boys, let's go to the moon. Can I get some rockets in the chat? Let's get some hype. Anybody that bought the dip, we are literally just sitting back, and we're sitting back in the rocket right now as we launch, and we're looking outside the window like, man, I've been waiting for this my whole life. It's like we're 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 taking in all the scenery as we go up. Like in those movies where it's just a cutscene, some B-roll of someone just looking out the window, observing the landscape. Just like, man, I've been waiting to see this my whole life. It's beautiful. That's us. It's literally us right now. Hey, Rockets, let's go. Let's go. I'm glad this worked out. We really analyzed this a lot. We even drew this inner trend line here when we were going down, just saying we need to, like, this would be our decision point right here when these two intersect. We need to absolutely be staying to the right and not continuing down. And sure enough, we made the curve hit here. It's good stuff. While we're kind of watching this happen, I'll take this opportunity to clean up this a little bit. Let's get rid of some of this. Diamond Hands, Doge, Rocket, yeah. James got all the emotes. He speaks the language. I'm going to leave these here. They're still indicators for our area of value. We might need them later, but hopefully not. Even if we can't be millionaires, for a lot of us, this is the best chance us in the lower tier have to stand for once. Yeah, absolutely. And in the stock market, things tend to either be anything this volatile, it's really hard to find, you know? That's why Doge is such a good opportunity for a lot of people. And it's for me too, because I do work full time. And I can take, a couple minutes sometimes, like I am right now, because I can do my work as it comes usually, unless it's an emergency. So, we don't have to research which stock's going to be the stock of the day. We don't have to pay for screeners to figure out where's all the momentum happening. It's literally focus on one thing, focus on Dogecoin, and buy low. That's it. So this is kind of our chance. I should have made this all one. If you guys use Webull and you use desktop, even if you don't, there's a drawing called polyline, which lets you do points. So you can do like stuff like this if you're trying to map something out. Just in case you didn't know, I discovered it yesterday, and I've been using it a lot. And there's also parallel, which is how I made this channel. Basically, you draw like your bottom to top or your top to bottom, and then you can make a parallel channel copy of that and drop that. Just very useful, saves some time. And there's Ray. If you're just trying to extend a line, like I can make 1 point, 1 point, and now it's gonna keep extending in that direction for eternity. Just some cool indicators. I like that Webull gives you a good chart. It's pretty quick, and the drawings are nice. But anyway, let's make our arrow again. Kind of messed it up. Buy high. 7. You've been trolling me for days. Seven's been in this chat saying we're going to 1 cent by next month. Literally, I think. Oh, there he is, heading to 2 cents tomorrow. Before he even heard what I was saying, there was the message. I feel like he came out the Webull comment section, like one of the biggest bears of all time. Got my YouTube channel, was just like, let me come troll. John says, just set alerts for the dips. True. That's all you gotta do. That's what we were talking about yesterday too. When you evaluate price action, where we should be, what you think is a good price, and evaluate that all in advance, you can literally set up your play and walk away from your computer and just have it execute the trade for you. You can say, based off what I know, we're crashing from 70, we came down to 40, that was the absolute lowest we touched, worst case scenario, but we know we also shouldn't be in the 30s ever, which means anywhere 40 to 45 is probably a good dip buy, because we probably won't go below 40 ever, since we didn't with whales, with crashing, with selling the news, with Robinhood not letting us buy and everyone panicking. 40.50 was our low. Knowing that, I want to buy in at 43, and I think I'd want to cash out at 60. So you can say, all right, so let me set my limit buy to 42.50 or 43 or 44, and I'll set an auto sell at 45. And then you walk away from your computer and come back the next day, and it will have happened. You should be that confident with your trades. When you're not, and when you feel the need to sit by your computer and time everything and be with your finger on the sell button, that means you are probably not doing the right trade. Cool, this is good. So we have crossed the 200 EMA on all of the relevant time frames. So 1, 2, 3, 5, and now 10. We crossed above on 10. I'm not worried about 15 or higher because they don't really day trade. So even if, I mean, the 15 and 30 and 2-day 200 EMAs are probably not resistance. They're not really with their finger on the sell button. Anybody that's sitting here staring at the screen is probably not going to be on a 30-minute time frame with their finger on the sell button. You know what I mean? The panickers are down here. And we are holding above the 50-cent marker. Can you do this on Robinhood? You can't chart like this on Robinhood, no, but you can do the trading. Well, you can't, with crypto at least, Robinhood only lets you do like a market or a limit buy or something. So, no, you can't set what I just set up. Like you could set up your buy price and your sell price. You can't do that on Robinhood for crypto. Nor can you chart like this. If you do want to try out Webull, which I do recommend, there is a link in the description. And if you use that link when you sign up, it'll just give us both 2 free stocks. But this is Webull right here. I do all my charting and stuff on Webull. And I do pay for TradingView charts as well, just because I wanted to try it out. But I kind of still prefer Webull. Now this is cool because if you pay a little more, you can do like 1 second time frames and stuff, which is stuff you usually 1 minute's the lowest, but you can go like real crazy. I don't have it paid for yet though. But and I do like this too because you can look at charts coming from different people. So for example, Robinhood uses, I've noticed they use Binance's charting. That's why their price is always a little different than Webull's price. So when I say I bought the 42 dip, I bought the 42 dip on Robinhood. Though on Webull, it says we didn't go below 42.85. Right here. Not right there. Right here. On Webull, it says our low was 42.85. But I executed on Robinhood because that's where most of my money's at, even though I hate Robinhood. And on Robinhood, it says we dipped to 42, actually down into high 41s. So on Robinhood, I set my buy at 42.5, and I got scooped up literally right here at this wick in the dip, and then we never came back. So I was like, I'm pretty proud of that dip buy. But yeah, so the two are always off by a couple cents. And for that reason, I do like to have both open. Because, for example, on Webull, it might say we are at 50-50, but on Robinhood, just like right now, it might say we're at under 50. And so you might say, oh, we're above 50 and holding, but on Robinhood, it might say, oh, we're below 50 and we're not making it through. So sometimes people have two different perspectives, and I kind of like to see what both sides are thinking. That way I'm not in the dark. All right, so we always have problems holding lines. So this doesn't worry me, but it is definitely annoying. You trade on Robinhood before you knew about wallets and watch Webull charts. Okay. Yeah, I do the same thing. I trade on Robinhood and I use Webull's charts. Two of my accounts are on Robinhood, and I have a small position on Webull. Your chart looks very generic. Yeah, Robinhood's charts are literally trash. Hey, what's today's end day prediction like? Today we're somewhere 55 to 60. It's just going to be a slow grind up, CH, just because taxes. Yeah. Yeah, CH, end target's 55.60. It's going to be a slow grind up just because we still have to deal with people taking profit and cutting their losses that got stuck at 70s and are trying to find a good point to get out. So we're not just going to rocket ship back up to 70. I don't care. Well, I mean, if we have crazy announcements, sure, that would probably get us through. But when people are seeing this like Elon tweet here and there, I mean, we're going to keep bouncing back. So we have a lot to fight against. So 55.60 is my end of day target. We should have been here yesterday, but we're slow grinding instead. Yeah, taxes. If I knew a little more about taxes, I would talk about it. I am not at all a tax professional. I consider myself more of a tech professional, and I've been studying trading for the last year almost every day, just getting involved in it. So I can help people learn about trading, but taxes, probably not. I would probably get you locked up by the IRS if I gave you tax advice. I am not good with that. No rocket without Elon tweets. Well, Elon tweets do spark rockets when people aren't scared. Without it, I mean, we're just gonna slowly climb back up to 55-ish, 60, but we don't really move without hype. We won't be moving really far above 60 without some hype. And there's no reason to, so I'm not surprised. Because you got to think, what is Doge's value? And most of the hype comes from an announcement that something's to come. And that something to come increases Doge's value. So if there's no hype, and there's no news that something's going to increase Doge's value, why would we go up? So I think we just should be resting at our value point, which I think is 60 cents. Hide the money. The IRS is real good at finding that money. So, I mean, that sounds all good and dandy, but if they come knocking on your door, you never spoke to me. It's going to be like that GIF where the guy, like, fades into the bush. What is it, like the Simpsons or something? Yeah, that's me. Just... This is good. Now, one thing that you really have to get used to with Dogecoin, if you stare at the charts, is that we really do not respect levels. There is always a 1 cent buffer. Like I said earlier, there is always a 1 cent buffer when it comes to what you think should be resistance and what actually ends up happening. So, for example, 50 should be our support, but instead it's the 50 to 49 range. And we, like on the EMA lines, we mess around with them. We go under them before we reject. We never have a clean bounce. Or we go over them before we go down. We never have a clean bounce. And the same thing happens here. Here we should have held right here, but no, we're coming back down. And even on the EMA line, we're dipping below that, and then we're going to rebound. It's really annoying, but you just have to mentally get used to that. And that way you don't get faked out. Because you see this guy right here? The guy that just bought, literally, right here. F in the chat for that guy, because he just got faked out. Now, I think we're going up, so we will probably catch him, but he shouldn't have bought right there. Will drop. Well, let me read the first. Open account in spouse name, sell stocks in her name, give one-time tax-free monetary gift to yourself. It's a great idea. My second account is actually in my spouse's name, so yeah, I have 2 Robinhood accounts. One's in my name and one's in hers. So you just gave me I know you're joking, but John JK, oh yeah. We'll drop to low 40. 1 p.m. What? Savage. Why in the world would we drop to 40? Okay, even if we do drop to 40, why would we drop to 40 now? I think that's the question. We had every chance in the world to go to 40. We had 2 chances. We had the worst case possible scenario of all bad news events and everything stacked on top of each other at once, and that got us not even to 40. We got 40, 42. We didn't even touch 40 flat. Then, massive bearish, everyone panics for a second time sell-off that went on for 28 hours, and we did 42. Now we have news that Elon is contemplating accepting Dogecoin for Tesla. We are not touching 40 cents today. There's no chance. 30. Hey, if it goes 30, I'll delete my YouTube account, honestly. John, it's valid but bad advice. Yeah, she probably wouldn't like that very much. You feel Thursday would go back up? I respect that thought. I can't say I see it. I think we're done dipping. This song's weird. It's like the Minecraft song, but remixed. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, Savage, like, I see you're probably looking for a dip, but I personally think this was our last chance. Especially as you zoom out, and you look at kind of what happened. We never have liked being at 40. When you go back in time, we saw 40 here for a split second, below we crossed through it. Well, we actually talked about that, John. I'll get back to that in just a sec, and I'll explain that. But we saw 40 briefly. Don't forget this. When we first crossed 40 for the long haul here, we barely even messed with 40, and then we touched it once and left, right? So we didn't really like 40 there. We ignored 40. Over here, I mean, we've blew through 40 multiple times in the past. Like 40 has never been, and that was it. Only times we've ever seen 40. We're either below or we're above. Like, and we usually don't respect 40 very much. We're either going to be low 30s or we're going to be not near 40. For that reason, when you really look at what happened, we had, like I said, worst case scenario sell-off, whales panic sell because of the whales thinking that it was sell the news time, then the recovery because they realized it wasn't sell the news time, then multiple whales at once, then a recovery, then the actual sell the news, then the underwhelming nature of the SNL event, and Robinhood not letting everybody buy during Elon's pump, right? Because the Robinhood was down. Everything possible went wrong here, and we didn't touch 40. Then we sharply rebounded, which shows us that this was an overreaction and that this shouldn't have happened. We sharply rebounded 22 cents, 20 cents, all the way to 60. And then we had a massive sell-off for 30 hours yesterday and the day before, and we only touched 42. I think that was the last chance. If we hit 40 again, something was wrong with these 2 points. Right now we're making higher lows. So something bad has to happen again for us to actually get forced down to this point where something really bad happened and brought us there. Like, what's going to push us down? What bad news do we have to get us to 40, basically? Now, to address what you said next was, why didn't we spike during the Elon tweet? Or why did we spike and dump? It's because we're still selling off because people are holding bags up here. The bag holders, which basically means people that bought up here and all their money's up here and they didn't sell, their accounts are negative probably multiple $1,000s. I am one of the bag holders, by the way. One of my accounts is at 70 cents average. So the bag holders right here that are panicking right now, unlike me, the bag holders that are panicking are waiting for an opportunity to make their loss not as bad. They realize they failed, they messed up, and they're depressed, and they want out of this trade, but they also, so they want to cut their losses, and they're waiting for an opportunity to make the loss not quite as bad. So on these spikes where they're like, oh, we were at 45, like, am I going to lose all my money? Are we going to 30s? And then they see we go 55, they're like, oh, I can recover, like, now my loss isn't $2,000, it's 1,000. I can exit right here. We're going to be seeing that for a while. That's why we spiked super hard, and everyone, all the bag holders, took that opportunity to then cut their losses. Now what we're seeing is a recovery because we never should have sold off that much in the first place. And that's why I'm saying we're still going to get to 60. But the grind up all the way through here is going to be slow because on the way up, bag holders are going to be cutting their losses and pushing us down. They're going to be selling on the way up. So we will get 60, but it might take a little while because we're going to go up and we'll get to like 55. We're going to go down. They're going to sell. We're going to go up. They're going to take profits. We're going to go higher. They're going to take profits. And we're getting rid of all the people that are in right here that don't believe we're coming back to 70. So that's why the hype died off so fast. But once the bag holders are gone, there's nothing holding us back anymore. Thankfully, we got rid of a lot of the bag holders in this 30-hour sell-off here, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I think we stop dealing with bag holders once we get back to 60. Because if you're holding a bag at 70 and you're seeing 60 now, you're probably not quite as worried, and a lot of people probably will stop selling just because they think there's a chance it'll keep coming up to them. It's raising, so what's the next time I should put more money in? I would have probably put most of my money in at the 42 opportunity that you had, Carson. If you're looking to add more, anything close to 50. You know, 50 cents, I would probably be my full position in by 50 cents. I don't really want to add more on the way higher than that. 52s, 54s, 55. Okay. Yeah. Anything under 50, honestly. If you really want to add more, now isn't a terrible time. But now is the latest, in my opinion. My goal is to watch this like a hawk, buy in at best case scenario value, like the highest value I can find, and not keep thinking about like averaging in later. I want to be in at what I see as the dip. Because once you start talking 50s and higher, we're going to be ranging in here a lot. And so I don't want to be messing with my profits at all. I want to be in here and let all this range up here be profit area. Just tweet again, John. Y'all are funny. 2 cents soon. Dude, if it goes to 2 cents, it's not possible. It's literally not possible for Doge to go to 2 cents. I mean, it can go to 2 cents, don't get me wrong. It can go to 2 cents, but it can't quickly go to 2 cents. It goes to 2 cents if over the course of like the next year or two, hype gradually dies off and people get less and less interested and less people buy dips over time. but it's not possible for like next week it to be at 2 cents because there's too many dip buyers thinking that it's an opportunity. They won't let it go that low. It's just not possible. Or unless there's some kind of announcement that Dogecoin is now deemed like worthless. Like, which doesn't, it's not really possible either. Posted a tweet. Nice. If Tesla accepts Doge, it will be amazing. It will. That's what we talked about yesterday too. That's where we're like, consider all things and buy the dip. Buy the dip because the Tesla announcement is going to come soon. If the SpaceX announcement came and Elon owns both companies and he's the face of Doge, the Tesla announcement's next, as soon as they figure out how to make it work without killing themselves financially while the coin's kind of unstable. So buy the dip in anticipation of the announcement, because a lot of people didn't factor in Elon's tweet and they didn't factor out in what that would mean for Tesla either. So we didn't see a spike. So that was just a perfect opportunity to say we have good news coming, so buy now, because people aren't recognizing it. So let's think ahead and beat them to it. So now all these people might be, people realized it here, like, oh crap, but we're in 45 or 42 cents. So we're making, good profits here, and they're in at a slightly risky spot. All right. But yeah, we've got the tweet from Elon. Do you want Tesla to accept Doge? 80% yes, 2.5 million votes. So it's looking good. Doge was mentioned on Bloomberg. Hey guys, thank you for all the likes. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look at the viewer count, we're almost at 20. Each time, I promise you, each time someone likes, YouTube's like, oh, let's recommend this video to a couple of the viewers. Highest today. Price target for today's 55. Now, I said 55 to 60. That's my price target. Right? So that's what I think it's going to go to. Like, if everything goes smoothly. Now, it's unpredictable. I can't just predict the future. I'm telling you what I predict based off, like, logical things. But I can't just predict. I don't know how many bears there are. I don't know how many bag holders there are and how many people are looking to buy. So that's my guess based off what I know. It really depends on how long we mess around in 50 to 55 right here. Now, I think we get back to 55 quickly because we already touched 55 today. I don't know if you've noticed, but typically, anytime a stock spikes and then sells off, on the return, it tends to want to come back to that point. So I think 55 is guaranteed because we naturally already believe we're capable of 55. So people are going to buy thinking we're heading to 55, right? Anything after 55 is anyone's game. That's why I say 55 to 60. Probably 55 to 58 makes more sense. We'd have to be pretty bullish to get back to 60. And it's not long after the major sell-off, and there's still a lot of bag holders. So let's say 55 to 58, and anything higher is just a bonus. Now, when do we get there today? I don't know, because we have a lot of mess to get through here. We're going to be chopping up a bit as people are selling. The 70 holders are selling. So do we want people to sell? Yeah. Yes, we do. We want all those bag holders to get it over with. What we don't want is for them to hold and us get up to 70 and then them sell. Because then that just kills our vibe, Just like how the whales did here. Just like how the whales, when we were chilling at 70s and we were thinking about hitting back 74 and going up to 80, when people started to sell, the whales sold and sparked the sell-off, it killed our vibe and we never made it back. Actually, we did touch 70 one more time, but then it happened again and we didn't make it back. So what we want is for them to sell now and get the selling out of the way so that when we hit 70, all the people that are holding bags don't just dump to break even. We want them out now so that when we get to 70, we can stay 70. So yes, we do want them to sell now. We're and us personally, we're already in at a good price. So people selling doesn't mean anything to us. Like we're not worried. We're not worried about the price coming to 48 because we're in low. That's why you buy low. Wow. Nice. Okay. You're right. It'll open bigger opportunities for us if they sell now versus later. If we can stabilize close to 70 cents and then we get another big announcement, then we start looking at 80. We wanted 80 that day, but the whale sold and killed and took us down. If we had an opportunity, if the whale hadn't sold quite yet, and we just waited a little longer, we might have dipped a little under 70, but we would have come back as we got a little closer to the show, and probably off momentum hit 80 before we dumped. So if we can not have those bag holders waiting to kind of set the resistance for us, because they're just going to slam sell as soon as we catch up to them, because they want to break even. I mean, I might even, you know, on one of my accounts, just depending on how it looks. So we'd rather those people technically get out now. Because it's inevitable that when we hit 70 anyway, that we're going to dump. Because it's all, resistances are just what people believe. And most people, you got to think, probably don't think we're going to go past 70 easily. So if they're in low, they'll probably sell at 70 and take profit and look for a dip to buy back at. So 70 is going to be a problem already. If we also have people waiting at 70 to sell, then that resistance is going to be impossible. And we're going to dump even harder. It's been a pretty good stream so far. A lot of people. Appreciate that, Joe. Really means a lot. Brand new to this, so glad it's going decent. Someone asked me yesterday how they could donate. I figured out how to turn on super chat, so if you want to donate, that's probably the easiest way to do it. But obviously, I don't expect any donation. But if you really desire to, there you go. Just kind of hanging out. Just feel free to chill right now. I mean, I'll be reading the comments and stuff, but right now, I mean, we're gonna range here just a little bit before anything next happens. So I'm keeping an eye on it. But this is probably a good idea to just let this kind of play in the background, catch up on a couple things as well. Check email or check Amazon, look for something to buy or something. Because it's going to be a little bit of a slow grind as we test 50 and everyone kind of proves that we're gonna hold this level, because we need to do that first before we can be confident in our next move up. Because you got to remember, anytime something happens, people are concerned and they're like, okay, well, we went up to 55, but then we came down to 47. So are we gonna hold 50 this time? Are we up or are we down? So once this proves itself, then we'll see a bounce up. But this is gonna take at least, a couple minutes. So I'll just let the music play. If you have any questions, ask. But we'll just hang out. Also, if you're bored, what I've been doing is just like posting a Webull chat here and there, tell other people to join. If you want some more of the Rocket Boys to join the movement, you can always put a comment in there and say join 2020 Tech Official. Live streams Liddy. This little pattern here is typically pretty good. It's almost like a bull flag. That's usually how it sets up, and then it takes off. It's a weird setup though, so I won't say it's a bull flag, but usually when I see this happening, there's a big green candle afterward, like this. See it happen here, and we should be finishing this right at the support line. So this may be where we rock it. We'll see. Let me move my moon over here. Oh, here we go, a little bit of movement. How much have I put into Doge personally? Too much Doge. I've put a lot in. Here's the thing, on one account, I'll just be transparent because it doesn't really matter. On one account, I put in $6,000. And that count's probably up like 1,000 right now, because that's the account I keep buying and selling dips with. And I was just making some dumb decisions. I really wasn't paying attention early, so didn't really make too much profit off that. My other account had 1,000 in it, and I 5x'd that account, so now we're at about 5,500. So technically I'm in about 11,000. But then on my Webull account, I had 1,000 in, and so far it's doubled, so we're at about 2,000. So I'm in out of pocket 6, 7, 8,000, but I'm sitting on about 13, I guess. So not too bad. $55,000. Wow. No, see, that's my current position. So if I had bought in earlier, I'd probably have about that much too, but I bought in late, So I put in about 8,000 total, but now with profits, I have about 13,000. So, Joe, wow, thank you for the super chat, man. That's crazy. Appreciate that. $20, wow. That's my first ever donation anywhere. I never expected a donation. That's crazy. That's weird. Am I actually a live streamer now? I got a dono. John, welcome to the chat. Yes, look at those rockets too. Do you think if Tesla does accept Doge, someone in the Webull chat suggested? Hey, I appreciate that. And welcome to the chat, Cynthia. We're just chilling, really, looking at the price, seeing where we're going. We had an 11-hour stream yesterday, analyzed everything kind of in advance. We're expecting a tweet from Elon just because of his announcement about SpaceX. So we figured around 40 would be our low, so we looked for 42 to buy as a really good dip, and then just kind of hold through as we go up, and then look for the Elon tweet for another pump. And so far, so good. So yeah, if you want to hang around and catch on to some more info, feel free. Pop the donation cherry. Yeah, you just did that, Joe. I don't know how I feel about the wording there, but yes, you did. Do you think if Tesla does accept Doge, it'll be soon, as the Mavericks did not take long to accept Doge as a payment? I want to say yes. The reason I think yes is because SpaceX already funded their mission with it, right? So my concern naturally is that Doge isn't stable enough to be buying cars with yet, because we don't really have a stable price on it. In my head, Doge minimum, worst case scenario, is worth 40 cents right now. But I mean, 40 to 70 cents is what it ranges. So we haven't decided, we haven't got to a point yet where we can say we know what a Dogecoin is worth, give or take a couple cents, because we fluctuate so much. For that reason, I feel like Tesla would have a hard time going live with letting people buy Dogecoin, letting people buy Teslas with Dogecoin. Because how can they say, let's say someone buys a Tesla when Doge is worth 70 cents a Doge, or a dollar per Doge, right? So a 40,000 USD car, someone buys with 40,000 Doge, a dollar a Doge. But then, because Doge is so volatile, it drops in price from a dollar down to 75 cents and hangs out there for a while. Technically, Tesla just lost 25% on that sale. So logistically, I can't really see them pulling it off, but I mean, it's Elon Musk and they already figured it out for SpaceX. So for that reason, maybe it is coming sooner than later. And I feel like behind the scenes, there have to be talks going on. These are massive companies, billion dollar companies, multi-billion dollar companies. Their financial advisors have things to say. So if they're really contemplating accepting Doge as a payment, as a currency, they're probably talking with the creators of Dogecoin. Somebody is. And figuring out how we can stabilize this thing going forward. I've already heard rumors from Andrew Chick, the YouTuber. I don't know if anybody watches him, but he mentioned on that Millennial Money stream about a rumor that there would be a burn rate for Dogecoin. So if that happens and we start limiting Doge supply, value only will be going up from here. And for that reason, it probably would be worth it to just go live, because just like accepting Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's kind of an appreciating asset. So worst case scenario, you break even. Best case, over time, the Doge value just goes up. So then it's not risky anymore. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Lot to consider. I don't know even if I was doing a service for someone, I would accept Doge as a payment. So that's why I feel like for Tesla to do it, it's a little weird. But I mean, they have much more money, probably much more money to spare, and they probably know a bit more than I do as well on what's actually coming next with Doge. Let's see. Yeah, and the Mavericks. Yeah, but Mavs tickets and merch. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm sure they have a better idea of how stable Dogecoin is than I do. So I'm sure they've done their research and they're just like, at the same time though, when you do something like that, you're also playing off hype. So just because they accept Dogecoin, their sales probably went up. So whatever loss they would have gotten on the value of Doge, they combat with increased purchases. So for them, it's not that risky. For Tesla, I don't know if people being able to buy with Doge makes people buy more Teslas. So I don't see an offset there. That's why I don't know. Carson, he sipped 18K before and didn't sell and waited, and he went back and even gained 10K. Wow. It's awesome. Y'all are funny. How much can a Doge cost today? And Carson, to answer your question, since that one will be quick, no. I am in 8K and that is it. 8K in Doge, and I'm not in anything else right now. That's currently my full position. And that 8K is now 13K, but I'm just saying out of my pocket 8K. How much can a Doge cost today? Today Doge probably goes 55 to 60 cents. That's what we're looking for. We've already seen the spike to 55. We've already seen the overreaction sell-off with all the profit takers trying to get out. So I think we bounce back to 55 cents minimum today, because naturally we're, like I said earlier in the stream, usually when you see a spike to a certain price and people sell off, when we start to trend back up, we start heading back towards that price. People mentally see 55 and say, oh, we hit 55. That means we have the potential to do it again. So we just naturally start working our way back towards that price. That's how you get the cup and handle formation. That's usually really bullish. We spike, we sell off and round our way back up, and then just a few more profit takers, and then once it stabilizes, people buy at what they now see as support. So that's what I see happening. We cup and handle up to 55-ish, maybe cool off a little, and rest in this area, and then we take off again. My thought, obviously, I think we at least head back to 55. What happens after that is just anybody's guess, I guess. Open a gentleman's club that accepts Doge, call it Doge style. Oh, why are y'all so funny? This is really good, by the way. Usually we see kind of a takeoff off this thing. 2032 Doge hits 35 bucks, someone said, but isn't that impossible? It's not impossible because we don't know what's going to happen with Doge going forward. I'd say nothing is impossible. Doge a million isn't impossible because we just don't know what's going to happen. I don't say it's reasonable, but I'm just saying you can't say something's impossible because things can change over time. So Doge 35 is not impossible. If we start actually limiting, burning off Dogecoin and increasing, which increases the value because there's not going to be as many in circulation. So like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and those others that burn off coin, it's not, there's going to be a limited supply. So value tends to go up. And who knows where that value will peak, or where that value will peak, rather. So, no, it's not impossible. I don't think it's likely, but I don't also, it's not impossible. People like to say things are impossible when they strongly disagree with it, but that's 35 isn't so absurd that I'd say it's impossible. Now, I do also strongly disagree with it, but it's not something that I'd say is impossible either. I think reasonable would be somewhere like $1 to $2, and probably max 5, if like all stars align. Beyond that, I can't say at this moment, because then I'm having to think about like factors and things that like at this time I can't really consider. Just a little soon. And crypto's so new. Who's to know how we really end up using crypto going forward? Do we stop using cash and we just switch to cryptocurrency, like to buy things at the store? Like, does cash become the dinosaur? Like, who knows where crypto goes in a year or two? Crypto's brand new. The adoption of crypto is brand new, rather. $1. I think we hit $1 if Amazon announces that we accept Dogecoin. We get close to $1 when Tesla finally says that they're going to let you pay with Doge. That's when we get close. I would prefer that announcement come when we're already close to 70, because that's going to be like a 25-cent spiker right there. And keep in mind, spikes are usually what we see as potential. So if we're near 70, 75 and we spike 25, then we see a dollar, and then people believe that we can hit a dollar and we start making our way back up on good days. If we get that announcement now, we spike to what, 70, 75, just back to where we were, and then cool off and then come back, but that doesn't change much for us. So I want that announcement to come at least later in the week as we head back to 60s. We want a tweet like that or an announcement like that to come when we're at the top to kind of push us over the top, if that makes sense. Because the thought of it, just the tweet, just a question, do you guys want it? Spiked us 10 cents. The announcements probably spikes us 20, 25 cents. Plus. So yeah, I think the Tesla announcement, if done at the right time, gets us to $1, at least temporarily. I think Amazon accepting Dogecoin sends us beyond $1. The thought of it, the announcement of it, probably sends us, 25 cents or so, but the actual thing probably sends us beyond $1. Once that happens, everyone has to take Doge seriously. And when I say when I say Amazon accepting Dogecoin, I don't mean through other services. I mean natively. Because there are ways you can apparently pay with Doge if you go through like other services. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if Amazon says we will accept your payment via USD, credit, debit, or Dogecoin, or crypto, which could either be Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Dogecoin. If they say something like that, then we see a dollar plus instantly. And if it's not instant, buy a dip because it's going. Because probably I think one of the largest retailers in the world right now, Amazon. Everybody buys stuff off Amazon. When you don't feel like going to the store, you look on Amazon. Same day delivery, I mean, they're on fire right now. So if the largest retailer in the world online says we're accepting Dogecoin, every other company is going to start saying, oh, we probably should too. And that is just going to be a massive snowball effect. Keep that in mind. If the largest retailer in the world, one of them, says we're accepting Doge, that makes everyone else feel comfortable. And it makes them think they're missing out on something. Yeah, exactly, Joe. And that's our biggest problem. We need to stabilize. Whatever that means, we need to stabilize. And once we stabilize, that's how we go up. That's when everyone feels comfortable with the coin. That's when everyone accepts it as America's currency or the casual transaction currency that everyone uses for day-to-day buy sell. Not the Bitcoin, which is used for investing like digital gold, not the Ethereum, which has a million uses and it's super technologically complicated and advanced, but I'm talking the crypto equivalent to cash. What do I buy groceries with? What do I pay somebody with to wash my car or to mow my lawn? That's what is our everyday crypto for transacting, for exchanging goods. And right now that's lining up to be Dogecoin. So as soon as we can stabilize at a price, which I think, like I said yesterday in stream, mentally it makes sense. If this is going to be the currency that we replace cash with or use as an alternative, it makes sense for one Doge to equal $1 USD. And I think that mental level is one reason why we're just bound to get there, because it has to be what people think. When you're talking about if we're having a crypto powered or backed future, think of, 6 months from now. 6 months from now, we're using crypto to buy and sell things, or a year. And you've got your grandmother using crypto to buy groceries. Do you want crypto to be like seven Doge to one USD, or would it be much more easy to understand for a casual currency for it to be 1 to 1, one Doge to what you already know, or a multiple of that, so 10. Yeah, one Doge is $10, easy. But I think 1 to 1, especially where we are right now, kind of makes the most sense. especially also considering that Doge isn't really limited, and so the value of it isn't incredibly high either. Just like, the USD, how we print like a certain amount. Um, if we're printing Doge, the value probably doesn't go up to just $10. So I think 1-to-1 is kind of the move. Yep. Right. True. But on Robinhood, they are talking about letting you actually own and hold your Doge in some kind of wallet. So when that happens, we probably see another Doge spike as well. Because Robinhood's probably the largest Doge volume um, platform. And just think, if Robinhood lets you actually own your Doge, people will probably slow down with trading it. Just because the mental thought that you can now own this asset and use it for things, versus just saying, I'm buying the right to have a Dogecoin and then selling kind of that right to have Doge. You actually have it, physically have Doge, and then you could buy something off Amazon with it, or that's why it's such a big deal. Those two things combined. But I think Robinhood is highest volume with Dogecoin. I think that's where pretty much all the action comes from, and then I'd say probably 50% with Robinhood, and then a combined 50% with every other broker together. So if Robinhood lets you store your Doge and hold it, and even incentivizes you to hold it, maybe they say 1 to 2% interest if you stake it. You just hold it in the wallet and kind of agree to leave it there and let it collect money for you. That means people will be less inclined to sell it. So now you just have more buyers than sellers. So then your price continues to go up. And as people see the price go up while they're holding it, other people are going to believe, oh, this is going to keep going up. So then more people buy and hold. And it's just a snowball effect. So Robinhood letting you use a digital wallet combined with an Amazon announcement, I mean, Doge could really take off. And we could be talking multiple dollars at that point. If all goes according to that kind of plan. Just a thought. Obviously, I'm not predicting anything. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just trying to think through all the scenarios. All I know is we bought a dip at 40 and we bought the bottom. So I am more than happy to think about best case scenarios for us at this point. If we didn't buy a bottom, I mean, we sell 40 and then we buy a real bottom, but I mean, we bought at such a good spot that I'm pretty happy right now. Now, like I said, this is going to do a lot of ranging right here as people test. We're testing our 200 EMA mostly, even more than we're testing the 50. But now we're getting to a point where these two lines are going to hit, and it's literally going to be at the same level. Two resistances in the same spot is usually really strong. Two supports also in the same spot, really strong. So it's just inevitable that we bounce. And we're about to hit a point where we have three and one right here. As we hold here, we're dragging this 200 EMA up with us. So we're going to have the 200 EMA, the 50-cent support line, and the upward trend line providing resistance here. 3 and 1. There's no way we don't rock it off here if we make it this far. I'd say there's a 5% chance we go down. 95 that we're going up. So if we're not going to go up, we have to not go up now. While we don't have three resistances playing a part here. Or supports, sorry, I keep flipping them. Appreciate all the likes, guys. Really been driving a lot of viewers through. I think we've had like 100 different people roll through. It says 122 playbacks. So people have at least come and go, 100 times total, 120 times. And whoever was shouting out on Webull, appreciate that. That worked. That was pretty cool. Yeah, we're still trying. We're still trying. We're gonna keep messing around with this 50 line and messing and getting to this 200. Not surprised. We keep having gradual long buy-ins and then steep profit taking. Once this steep profit taking, once these people are done, we're gonna move. I'm new here. Buy everything. Sounds about right to me. Welcome to the chat, Dufex. Buy everything. I mean, if you're buying everything at 50, you're not in a bad spot. Oh, and everything. Cool. Well, I'm glad I can provide some good information and help you out. Are you in at a certain spot, or are you just watching, or are you hodling at the top like a lot of us? Your brain was thinking buy. Hey, my brain's thinking buy right now too. If I could put some more in right now, I would, but I'm pretty much all in. By pretty much, I mean I am all in. Nice, 27, dude. You're in. You're already doubled right now. You're about to double again, honestly, because we're headed back up. This is the candle I like to see. I want this to be a big green candle. It would be nice if this turned into one of, like, you know, the 3 greens. We'll see how this takes off. Or if it even does. Let's go 3 minute. Yeah, this looks nice on the 3. We're still, and we're bullishly pulling ahead off of this upward trend line that we were looking at earlier, and now we're kind of on this whole vibe. So we're trying to move. What happened to my line? It's not a very good line. $5,400 coins. Pretty nice size there. What was that, about 2 grand? Well, when you bought in, no, when you bought in, it's probably about $1,000, right? But now you're like doubled. Probably like $1,200 or something like that. We're looking good. It's a little slow. I appreciate you guys hanging around and liking. We've been getting some extra viewers with those likes. But if you do have to go, just don't forget to subscribe before you leave. That way you can catch my daily live stream and not miss me next time I go live. I say daily live stream. My goal is daily. We'll see how long I can keep it up, but so far we've been doing it at least once a day. Yesterday we had an 11-hour stream, and then had another one. Not much to report on. You just see this little trend right here. Right here. This little line. Everybody's just trying to decide what's happening. No way to really know, but we're kind of looking at that. Elon, hey, what's going on, John? Welcome to the channel. Actually, I mean, welcome back. You already commented. Yes, Elon is the GOAT. For sure. He is the GOAT of Doge. He's been doing a great job of helping us get traction. And it's still up to him to do his part with Tesla, which he's doing. But then after that, we got to get this thing figured out for retail. And if it does get figured out for retail, we're in at a great spot. Even if you're holding high, you know, the more good news we have, the more adoption we have, the higher this value of each Doge is going to go. So even if you're in at 74, we're probably going to catch you. It's just going to take a little bit. We're going to head to the moon and we'll pick you up. There's room on the rocket. No need to fear. So you want to kind of be looking at this little, there's two little trend lines here that determine an actual breakout or not. So you've got this, right? And then some people will be looking at their chart like this. I like to just chart it out multiple ways, so I know kind of what to expect. And that way you don't get faked out. Because there's no way to know, though this one might make more sense to you. What if other people say that one makes more sense? You don't want to get, you don't want to see a breakout and buy and then it fake out. Because they were actually looking at this one here, and the breakout would have been here. But we could just dump out the bottom. Do you think Doge will reach 60 today? Welcome back to the channel. I eat. Doge 60 today, that is my price target, but I'm given a range 55 to 60. 60 would be definitely on the bullish side. I think reasonably, if you're just asking me what do I think the price will be as we end the day, I say 55 to 58. For some reason, like the last 2 cents of each 10 cents is a little bit of a struggle. Also, we know, yeah. So if we do like 58, cool, or 59, I would love to see 60, but I think realistically 55 to 58, and then probably 60 as we get some more momentum over these next couple days, and we kind of get rid of the panic sellers, because it's going to be a slow grind up, like I was saying earlier in the stream. Yeah, you shouldn't sell. Definitely wouldn't sell. It should be a slow grind up, because we've got all the people from 70s that are holding the bag still looking for spikes so that they can cut their profit and not be in such a deep hole. So instead of being down like 2 grand, if they can wait for a spike, they can maybe cut it to 1 if they don't think it's coming back up to 70. So on the way up through 50s and high 50s especially, we're going to have struggles. We're going to hit levels and bounce, and it's going to take a while to come back up. So it's going to be a slow grind back to where we should be. We're still dealing with the news event. It's not over. That's going to be all this week. all the repercussions of that sell-off are going to be felt this week. But we will get back. It's just going to take longer than usual. But yeah, I don't think if you're in low, I probably wouldn't sell. We are at a good place right now with no signs of slowing down. So at least wait until you're at a sign of slowing down. I mean, if you wanted to scalp, sure. I mean, sell here, rebuy. But other than that, this is looking like a hold. Yes, rockets. That's the vibes. That's what I like to see. And so you see here, this is exactly, literally what I just did. Come on, guys. Literally what I just said. This is why you want to look at it at both perspectives. Because you have your chart charted out one way. You see we crossed the line. You say, oh, we're breaking out. And then it flips on you because other people were looking at their chart the other way. And then it reverses on you. And you panic and you sell. What happens after that, anyone's game, right? We could take off. But the point is, you faked yourself out. You don't want to do that. Now that we're both above both lines, this is bullish. But I guarantee you, someone bought here. And then they panicked and they sold here. And now it's taking off without them. That's the classic bad trader routine. They buy high out of FOMO, and then they get faked out because they bought too high, and it reverses, and they're like, crap, I was wrong, so they sell, and then it takes off, and they end up buying higher. And so they just lost all that for no reason. Cool. Well, that's what we were looking for. Now we rock it out. So I'll delete these lines because they no longer are relevant. Now we look here, obviously, at our high. It's going to be just a mental resistance. People are going to question, do we go higher than we just went? Yeah, huge spike up. We saw that coming. That's why we drew the line. Okay, we blew through that. Good sign. Let's check, see where our other 200s are. Do we have any other resistance? No. They're all, yes, actually. You see we actually stopped at it on the 15. That's why I don't have lines drawn. Supports and resistances are important, but don't be drawing a whole bunch of lines on your chart, confusing yourself, Fibonacci, all that stuff. I mean, if it's just giving you simple up and down moves, keep your 200 EMA or VWAP if you're day trading an actual stock. Keep that on your screen and change your time frames and look around at what other people are seeing. All support and resistance is what other people are seeing and what they believe is going to be either the low or the high. The 200 EMA is the main indicator of price, universally. VWAP probably second most, but that's for if you're a day trader. So 200 EMA, change your time frames, see what other people are seeing as support or resistance, and keep that in mind. So we switched to 15 and we see we stopped exactly at the 15 mark. At the EMA on the 15 rather. On all the other charts I think we're already past, yeah. So then if we switch to 30, probably our next level after, if we break through here at 51, we're probably looking resistance near 54. And then obviously at that point you also want to look at other highs also, but it's less important to me. Also, if you do like intraday trading this, the 3-minute time frame is where the money's at. The 1 minute gives you a little too much information. I keep it on 1 so that for the sake of the stream, I mean, we can actually see what's happening and it's a little more interesting. But if you're trying to time buying and selling and not make emotional decisions, 3 gives you just enough information to recognize clearly what the trend is. And so we could have just drawn a line here off the 3. And just look for some confirmation potentially here. and then thought about a sell here depending on what happened, and if not, just bounce around, check your time frames and whatnot, or just buy here and expect it'll probably go up and trace back, and if you're in the right spot, it'll then revert, but if not, it'll keep going. Either way, my point is the 3-minute time frame lets you see enough on Dogecoin at least. In the stock market, it might be a little different, but I just noticed on the 1-minute time frame, it almost looks like sometimes we're looking at Forex with just all this stuff going on here. So we've got a pretty sharp reversal candle there right at the mark where the 15 EMA is. Which is obviously bearish, but what happens next depends on how bullish we really are overall. Do we have buyers here? Do we have enough so that we don't just dump back to 50? Or do we kind of catch and hold right here at 50-50, 50-60 actually? So we'll see. 50-60 or 50-40 if we can't do 50-60. I'd prefer 50-60 because that's a little more bullish. Hope this information isn't too much and it's helpful. Just sharing my experience. I'm not a perfect trader either, but I've been studying this stuff for like a little while now. So I've taught a couple people how to trade. Appreciate all the likes, by the way. Could we get to 20? That'd be pretty cool if we could get to 20. I think yesterday we ended up at like 31, which was crazy. But yeah, each time, I'm not just saying that. I get annoyed when people ask me to like their videos. So if you get annoyed by that, I understand. But for the live stream, each time that somebody likes, we get like another 2 viewers. It's been working pretty consistently. And I can see if you do like it, there's a counter here. So I appreciate it. Alright, so back to 50-40. That was kind of just like the next little resistance. You see where these little spikes were happening here? So that's why I thought on the lower end, that's probably where we'd retrace to. I don't use, hey, thank you whoever just liked. We're at 19 now. Appreciate that. We'll see if we get a couple viewers beyond our 16. But yeah, that was kind of the lowest I was hoping to go. This green candle is kind of important because it tells us like how anxious we are to buy back. A good sign would to see this engulf, like what they call a green engulfing, a bullish engulfing candle. Would have wanted to see that kind of overwhelm the red one a bit to signify we're going to reverse and this was an oversell off. But now we're seeing this big wick on the top, pushing us down, signifying we have a little more selling pressure here. But that's not to say we won't continue, but it's just not a great sign if you're just analyzing the candle. And based off of that, kind of regardless of what this candle does, it's not going to go to here, right? So we're gonna see some action in this area at the very least. We're not just going to rock it through 51.40. So we're just a little weak. Yeah, So it looks like we're still going to mess around just a little bit. We're kind of making our higher highs, but like I said, this is going to be a grind. We're not just going to rock it up to 55 and then rock it to 60. That's not going to happen today. Unless we get like 3 tweets in a row and everybody jumps back on the hype train and all the Shiba Inu people that left and the SafeMoon traders that kind of took their money out just come right back because the hype's back. Because that's what's going to happen eventually. But we have to wait for that hype to come back to us as we regain traction. So unless that happens, we're going to have a slow grind back up because we have to push through all the sellers. All the sellers from 70s are taking profits as we're going up here. So this is going to be a slow grind back up. But it's a stable grind, which is a good sign. So I don't mind it, but you just kind of have to be patient. Don't sit here and buy 50-50 and think we're going to the moon instantly. It's going to be a slow ride. But we are going to the moon. Do you think there will be another tweet? Um, Probably not today. I don't think today. We tend to get like one tweet in a day. I don't think I've ever seen two hype tweets. I don't think we get another Elon tweet today. It would be cool, but really at this point, I don't even really want a tweet right now. If you're asking me personally, I would rather us on our own initiative, with our own strength, get back to levels to show, kind of prove to ourselves where we should be without hype. Then once we're at that top, let's get a hype tweet to push us over. But I don't mind us proving to ourselves and to others that are watching Dogecoin right now that without hype, um, we can be stable mid 50s. Because the whole thing is there's a lot of people. I'm trying to back up, but my chair won't move. There's a lot of people that they look at Dogecoin and they think it's all hype. And if there's no hype tweets, we're just gonna fade back to 20 cents or something. So the more people that are watching this and just seeing we can hold our own, the more confidence this inspires, even for us. And the thing is, we are on trajectory. Our rocket, our flight plan, boys and girls, we are on trajectory to head back to 55 and then range in that 55 plus area. So we don't need a tweet unless we're really trying to scalp, you know. In that case, you kind of get impatient and you want it to go now so you can sell and then buy a dip and then, make money fast. But if our goal is to just profit, like we're going to get there today or tomorrow, just not within the next couple minutes. Hang on just a second. Appreciate you guys hanging out. If you haven't already and you have to go soon, don't forget to subscribe before you go. I do have a very small channel, so you probably won't be able to just find me if you forget my channel name or something. But yeah, I'm going to try and live stream this every day, so just trying to get a little profits. Yeah, I hear you. We'll get back to 55 soon. And that's probably not a bad place to sell again. You're in at 0.5. If you're trying to scalp, yeah, you probably sell right at 5.4. You sell 5.4, and because you don't want to wait for 5.49, you don't want to wait for 5.5. Keep in mind, what's going to happen is people that are trying to take profit are they missed this opportunity here, and they're waiting for it to come back. Which means as soon as we get back up here, people are going to sell again. Those people that missed round one. You don't want to be greedy and have your limit sell at the top, because we probably won't make it to the top if everybody's trying to sell again that missed round one. So just like when we bought this dip, I said we're going to 4.2, but I don't want to be greedy and set it at 4.2 because I might not get filled. So I set at like 4.25 and was willing to cancel and move to 4.3. For the same reasoning here. If we went 5.5, don't think we're going right back 5.5. Put your limit sell 5.4. Especially if you look at the wicks here. 5.4 is where we comfortably went with the bodies here. And this was just the peak. So take 5.4, forget about the 1 cent, expect a rejection, look for a dip. And then if you want to get back in, if we keep rocketing, look for us to hold above 5.5. Somewhere 5.556 and try and ride it to 60 cents. That's how you should scalp it. Now, my personal advice would probably be just to, for me, I'm kind of just holding at this point. I've tried the scalping thing and I realized on my other account that I was making more money just holding than trying to scalp, because when we tend to move, we blow through cents sometimes kind of quickly. So I would scalp, I would try and do like a sell at 5.5, and then I wouldn't get filled, and I'd sell 5.4, and then we just blow through to 5.7, and I'd have to look for a new buy opportunity. And I'm missing out on like 3 cents at a time each time I scalp. For every 10 cents, I'm missing three. That's what was happening to me. But if you want to scalp it, yeah. If you want to scalp it, um, just sell 5.4 and either wait for a dip closer to 5, as close to 5 as possible, or look for a rebuy in if we take off when we stabilize at 5.5. Um, I personally don't think you should sell at 5.5. I think you should wait for 60, but that's just me. I would sell maybe 5.8, 5.7 at the soonest. Probably wouldn't wait for 5.9. It's a little greedy. Joe says, thanks 2020. I'll catch you later, brother. Going to work. Thanks for the informative insight. Awesome, yeah. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate that. I appreciate your donation. First ever. That was pretty dope. And look forward to having you back on the channel. Hopefully you'll catch us next stream. John says, I just want to go back on 60. Yeah, where did you buy, John? What's your position right now? Or are you just watching, waiting for a buy or something? Well, you probably wouldn't say that if you were looking for a buy because you'd want to dip. So what are you holding? At what price? Again, this is going to be a slow grind. We're just kind of hanging out. Just kind of hanging out watching this. We're getting to a point here. I mean, if we're still respecting this uptrend here. Oh, I didn't want to move that line. I deleted my previous uptrend line, but we're still respecting it as support. Now we're contemplating disrespecting it, which is interesting. But we can move down to these wicks and kind of see. Yeah, alright, so unless we get a rejection here, we're kind of disrespecting this uptrend. So we kind of start looking sideways again instead of slanting up. But either way, it doesn't really matter because what we're looking for is a up move here. Now, as long as we're not on the underside of this, come here, we should be alright. But if we just hold here and move along, we're going to have three supports at once, kind of forcing us up. The 200 EMA, the 50 line, and this general uptrend, this longer term uptrend that goes way back to 42, all the way to now. This still isn't all doomed. This could turn around and close above the line. But we'll see. And that's the way it's looking. If that happens, that signifies to people that we're holding this trend. And then this needs to also go up. A little stronger than that. This needs to be a strong candle. Now, it's interesting that this did close also here because when you look across, we've got like wicks here. This kind of was already a level, general. So now you see people are buying this up. This holds a little more weight now, the support line. But I don't feel like it's holding, so it doesn't need to, really. I'm just going to delete it. I don't believe in it anymore. Diamond hands. Heck yeah. Um, so I have 3 accounts. I have 2 Robinhood accounts and I have 1 Webull account. Actually, I have 2 Webull accounts, but I don't use the second one. On my 1 Robinhood account, I am holding, and I am in at 69 because I was not looking and the price dumped, and I didn't want to cut. Because I expected bounces, but a lot of things happened that day we didn't expect on SNL night, so whatever. But yeah, at 69 on that one account, waiting for it to come back. On my Webull account, technically I'm in at 67 on this account here, but I did sell and rebuy close to 55, and because I thought there was going to be a bounce, but we kept dying down, and I just said whatever, we're going to come back. I just didn't feel like messing with all the scalping and looking for a dip and whatnot. It's like instead of cutting loss and then looking for a dip and then buying back and trying to profit on multiple accounts, I just said we're going to hold here since we're going to come back here, and I'm not going to lose anything once we get back, and then I'll be in profit once we pass it. So that's how much I believe that we're coming back, is that I didn't even cut. So I'm in on 2 accounts, and then on my main Robinhood account though, I am in at 4250. So on stream yesterday, for when we were up here, we were talking about if we could break under 50, we're going to be looking 40s and probably go all the way down. If we go down 45, 45 is a good dip, but if we break 45, we're going to be looking for like a 40 to 42 buy, and that 42 would probably be the best place, because that's 420, and due to it being 420, people might buy that up instead of 40, just because. And so the goal was to get filled there. So I said I'm going to wait for it to come down to me at 420. But if everybody buys at 420, I want to make sure I'm a little higher than that so that I get filled. So I put in a limit buy on Robinhood at 425. And so that was on my main account. And so for a couple hours, we just watched it come down from 50, slowly coming down all the way down to 42. And I bought right here. My limit buy that I set hours in advance, we finally came down and I got scooped up on this candle at the very bottom. And then we rejected and never came back. So I'm in at 425 on my main account. On Webull, it doesn't even say we went 425, but Robinhood's prices are off by a couple cents. And when I say off, I don't mean that they're less accurate, I just mean they're different for whatever reason. So on Robinhood, it says we went down for a hair of a second. The end of our candle was 418, and I got filled less than a cent above that. Pretty impressed with that dip buy, if you ask me, though. Especially considering I placed the dip buy. I placed the buy here. This was at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and the actual thing went through 3 hours later. You buy on Binance? Cool. I actually just signed up for Binance. I'm hearing good things about them. And I know that they not only give you leverage, which I don't know if I really want to mess with too much, but you can also buy more cryptos. Because I just use Robinhood and Webull, and obviously they only give you like 5. So if I really want to venture out, I'll be able to use Binance and then own the coins and send them to a wallet. So that is my thought process, especially as we stabilize with Doge. The fees are good. Are they? I looked at them. What is it, like a 50 or a 1 cent maker taker fee or something like that? 1%. 1% for making and then 1% for taking. So 2 total. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. And thanks again to Joe. I know he left, but thanks for that donation. That was pretty cool. First dono ever. I did turn on. I figured out how to turn on Super Chat just because some people were asking how to donate yesterday. So if you, for whatever reason, feel so compelled to donate, there you go. But again, I don't expect any kind of donation. I'm just doing this to help people out. And yeah, I didn't even have donations on until people asked. So 70. Oh yeah, that's even better. 0.7. Yeah, that's not even really noticeable. Unless you're obviously like really large position size. But so does Binance let you own Doge, or is it like Webull? Yeah, so Binance does let you own. You have to tie, I think you, and you have it, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have it yet. But from what I've seen, you can send the coin that you own to a external wallet and actually physically like own that coin on your software wallet, to then transact with it. Um, or you can keep it in their system and you can convert it to like BNB, which is their coin or something like that. But yeah, Binance lets you own. But just keep in mind, you do have to use Binance US. If you're in the US, they have a specific Binance you have to use. If you try and use the generic one, it's for literally like everywhere outside the US, and it will tell you as you get through the sign up process that you can't sign up. So again, guys, we're just watching this. Like I said, it's going to be a slow roll, slow grind. Oh, okay. I'll have to do some more research on it. I signed up and I read a couple things, but I didn't like read everything. 10 levels? Okay. Interesting. We're still leaning up here, which is nice. If we zoom out a bit, because sometimes it's just a good idea to zoom out. Wait, what? We've... Why is it taking me backwards? We've broken this miserable downtrend here, and we're moving now upwards. And now we just need to stabilize here. We've already had one major rejection here where we hit like a rock bottom and violently bounced off, and then a lesser but still kind of extreme revert here. I think that gives us maybe potential to mess around like one more time to like here. Worst case scenario, probably in 47 before we never see 40s again. And by never, I just mean for a long time. Best case scenario, this was enough, but it just came in so hot. Usually there's a like an ebb and flow. There's a down, there's a up, a down, a up, a down, a up, and it's like rubber bandy. You kind of have to stabilize. If we're cool here, nice, but just keep in mind we might see one more dip. But we have a lot of support here, which is the only reason I think we're probably not going to see that dip. Because we've got the SMA, I'm sorry, the EMA. I don't use SMA. We've got the 200 EMA, the 50 line, which is super, super strong. And we've also got our upward trend meeting at this exact moment right here. Let me draw a little. This is like extreme support. So if we range over to here, this is like our launch pad. Let's go back to a smaller time frame. Alright, it's going to take a couple minutes, so I mean, you could just listen in the background or hang out for a couple minutes. Not too much to talk about. We got to take a couple minutes to hold above this line and do our little thing here before our next action happens. If you haven't already, I appreciate all the likes. Again, and I'm sure the people that have been here all day are tired of hearing this, but each time somebody likes, we do get a couple more viewers. And I'll even show you the proof. Each time someone likes, we spike up. And I can see the likes, so I really do appreciate it. If you're here and you haven't already, if you could donate your like at least, we will get a couple more people in stream. And if you do have to go, don't forget to sub on your way out, because you probably won't find my channel just by searching Doge, because it is a very small channel. What's going on, Insider? Haven't seen you in the chat. What's your move with Doge? Are you wow, 2 likes. Wow, thanks guys. Usually each time I mention I get 1, but 2, we'll definitely take those. What's your move with Doge, Insider? Are you holding? Are you looking for a buy? Are you just kind of watching the world burn? What's going on, Sean? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for hanging out. See, we just, off 2 likes, we got 3 people. That's exactly what I mean. Thank you guys. As you come in, if you do like what you see, if you could hit the like button, each time someone likes, literally we get a couple more people. It's a very small channel, so 20 people in here is actually a ton. It's only my 3rd live stream too, so really a lot of people, all things considered. And thank you for that 20-second like, whoever just hit it last. Insider and Sean, what you guys got going on? Are you holding from a certain spot? Did you buy the dip? Like a lot of us bought that dip down in the 40s, low 40s? Or are you looking for a buy, or are you just kind of spectating and seeing what's up? Dude, Robinhood sucks, man. Dude, don't leave Robinhood. I use Robinhood too. Robinhood does suck, don't get me wrong, and I'll say that all day because I still use it. Madison, hey, welcome. Zachary, what's going on? All these new faces. Let me get to your comments in just a sec after Sean. Yeah, this chart is Webull. This is Webull, very similar to Robinhood. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I think of Webull as just the next step up. And I don't really see too much better than Webull when it comes to a balance of functionality and ease of use. Because when you start getting into like the TD Ameritrades and all of their mobile apps, they're hard to look at, and I don't know. I like a good user interface, simple but effective and informative. And Robinhood's probably the best place to start. But once you start wanting to look at charts, like Robinhood doesn't tell you anything. They don't give you data. So stuff like this where you need to draw lines and just kind of visualize a trend, or just draw a channel, or draw a support line so you can reference it later, like you can't do that on Robinhood. Their desktop version is a little less bad, but it's still pretty bad. But for that reason, I do use Robinhood to execute my trades, but I use Webull for the charts. If you are interested in a second account, you know, if you still want to do all your trades on Robinhood, but you want Webull's charts, it's free, just like Robinhood. And if you actually use the link in the description, you will get 2 free stocks, and so will I, if you use that link when you sign up. So there is that, if you decided to check it out. And I love me some free stocks, so I'm probably going to plug that one all day and hope at least one person does click the link. But yeah, if you want to see Robinhood's chart, um, if you actually want to see what Robinhood's price is, but not on Robinhood, if you use something like TradingView, they use the Binance chart. So if I type in Doge and I get all these options and I do the Binance option, this is the price that shows on Robinhood. And it's a little different than Webull. So on here it says we're right at like 50, but if I switch to Webull, it says like usually we're a couple cents off. Right now it's the same, but usually it's not. Okay, here 49.8, but here it says 50. And so that's why I have both. Just so I can see what everyone's seeing. I want to see what Webull users are seeing, but I also want to see Robinhood at the same time. 49 here, 50 here. You know, on one it says we're under 50, on the other it says we're above. So there's two different viewpoints. New to the chat. Do you think we could see... My watch just died. New to the chat. Do you think we could see a 35 cent? And what would have to happen to see that? No. So, to summarize it, I'll say, because I don't want to, for the people that have been here, I don't want to wear out their ears too much, but we saw our worst case scenario dump. We were comfortably in 70s. We had whales dump here, made everyone panic. Multiple whales dumped. Then the news sell-off while whales are dumping. Then the SNL event that was supposed to cause hype wasn't even that great. And then Robinhood also went down during Elon's pump skit, so we never even got to recover. All those things combined, with everyone panicking and everything, worst case scenario, we saw 40, 42, not even 40 flat. And we saw it for a split second before it got eaten up. And then we bounced 20 cents. What that tells you is this was an extreme overreaction and a worst case scenario dip. Then, for the next 30 hours, we did range in this massive downtrend for literally 30 hours all the way down. But we got bought up at the 43 mark, 42, 43. And we have not seen lows near 40 cents. I mean, then our mark was 45, and then it's just been rocket. So our worst case scenario price right now is low 40s. If all goes wrong, it's a low 40s. A dip is going to be higher 40s, but best case for buying a dip is low 40s. And for that reason, I don't see 30s as even being a thought. So no, I don't see 35. What would have to happen to see 35? We'd have to get extremely bad news. Like that one of the adopters of Doge has changed their mind or something. We would need people to lose the faith in Doge that we've already gotten by something like that. That's the only way we go down below into 30s. Because our massive sell-off didn't even let us touch 40. So keep that in mind. If you bought a 40 or 42 or a 43 even, you're in at a lucky spot. Because we probably won't be going back down even to there. Zachary. And yeah, welcome to the chat, Madison. Appreciate having you here. Zachary, have you heard of AMP? It's on Gemini, making great moves. Blockchains are accepting it as payments. Really? No, a lot of the altcoins, other than like Doge, I haven't been doing a lot of research on. Just because I only do that when I am looking for something else to invest in. And right now, I'm pretty comfortable being in Doge. I've done a bit of my research. I kind of know where we're headed. And so I'm comfortable buying dips here and just taking the profit I get versus looking for the next big pump. I've done plenty of that chasing into the stock market and have had my fair share of getting burned. So I'm comfortable playing it a little safe, though this is still a little risky. You know, it's a risk reward that I'm comfortable with. Bought at 8 cents and bought a gun at 20 cents. I sold my whole position. Oh, dude. That is unfortunate. But again, like, you didn't know it was going to keep going. Who did? For those that had diamond hands at that moment, it did reward them, but how were you to know? You sold your whole position right before SNL show, and you're back in at 50. Oh, cool. Very smart. Okay. Yeah, understandable. What did Elon tweet? Elon tweeted that question about whether or not we wanted him to accept Doge as payment for Teslas. Yeah, yeah, that was great news. We were talking about this. Caleb, what the heck? We were talking about this yesterday, and Caleb, if you could hit the like button, we've been getting a couple viewers per like. Really, anybody, if you haven't already, I do appreciate it. But yeah, we got great news, and we talked about this yesterday. And thank you for hitting that like. Now we have 23. Appreciate it. That Elon would probably. It only made sense that if he talked about SpaceX, or if he announced that SpaceX was going to be funded, or the mission called Doge 1 was completely to be funded by Dogecoin, and that SpaceX was now accepting Doge as a currency to fund things, that the next step obviously would be his other company, which is Tesla. So when he made that announcement, it just made the most sense to buy in this overcorrection dip at the lowest point possible, with the expectation that as we recover, we then factor in not only the SpaceX news, but then that there would be a Tesla announcement to come. I thought later this week. But either way, our goal was to buy the dip in expectation of the spike off of his news. And next day, didn't see it coming this morning, but that is why we bought low. But sure enough, he said, do you want Tesla to accept Doge? And that's what caused our 10-cent spike from like 46 to 55. Now, the reason we're selling off still is because we're still in the panic, not really the panic sell mode anymore. We kind of got out of that. But now the bag holders that were holding at 70s that didn't sell are looking for opportunities to close their positions and make the pain not as painful. So as we continue up, as we go close to 55, closer to 60, they're going to start closing their positions and cutting their losses at better spots. So that's the only reason we're back down here. We will continue up, but it is going to be a slow grind as we have to deal with all of those people looking for opportunities to get out if they don't believe it's coming back up to them at 70. Sean, I get the concern, but how I see it is that people like you and I aren't very interesting to Chinese government, so I'm sure they will skim over your info and forget about it. Yeah, I know a lot of people have concerns about like the Chinese government. I'm not really one of those, but um, you know, teach their own. All right, thanks for hanging out, Caleb. Caleb is a friend of mine. He's just trolling, so don't worry. Just trolling in the chat. Alright, we are getting to the decision point, so this is interesting. I also do probably have to cut the stream. Just pause it, in a couple minutes to get some work done. And I've got a couple meetings. But, yeah, we're looking decent. Car situation is not very good. It is being held in the shop right now, trying to decide what to do. Not under warranty, it's going to be like $6 grand. So, I don't know. Really deciding, well, I told them to get back to me on like how can we just get it running instead of replacing all those parts that they mentioned, which should be closer to $2 grand in my head, but I don't know. It's not brand new. It's a 2017 Challenger Hellcat, but it's only got 30,000 miles. But the transmission, we're having issues with the clutch already, and so they need to replace like the flywheel, the clutch, and some other components. And they quoted me 5,700. So yeah, that feels bad for sure. And I do have factory warranty still, but that part isn't under factory. They only warranty the clutch for 12,000 miles anyway. So that's already gone. But then, definitely used. But then also I have extended warranty, and apparently it's not covered under that either. So I'm like, what am I even paying for? To the moon, here we go. Easy Scout back to 52. Facts. We're back to 52. I mean, if you just hold a little longer, and welcome to the stream, talk to me. Um, New Tiburon, yeah, I paid 3K for my first Tiburon and probably ended up spending another 7K before I sold it for $250 to the junkyard. So that's a hard pass for me. Um, but yeah, welcome to the stream. Talk to me. Thanks for hanging. Easy Scout back to 52 for sure. I think, honestly, if you're in at a decent price, just look for 54 if you're gonna scalp. Because we're obviously gonna reject off 55, so just cut it 54 and get another 2 cents. But do I think it's better to buy a newer used car? I definitely think used if you know what you're looking for. Thing with new cars, let's say you buy a new car for 50K. It depreciates as soon as you take it off the lot. So off the bat, just because it's no longer new and the title gets switched to used, you could put 1 mile on it and you probably just lost 3 grand. So consider that when you're car shopping. Because if you had just bought used, let's say you bought used instead of new, new was 50 and used was 40. So you save 10 grand, and if you have to fix a car part that is 3 grand or 4 grand, you've paid 44. You're still better off than if you had bought it brand new. And you know, where if you didn't have to deal with that fix, or if they covered it under warranty, now you're looking at like 47 because of the money saved. So you can kind of take like the price of the repair off the total of the car if it was brand new. So say you bought new at 50 and it saved you 3 grand. So now technically it's like you almost paid 47 because you saved 3 grand there. But if I had bought at 40 and I paid 3 grand, I'd be at 43 and still have a 4K buffer. But usually if you look for an even better deal, I mean, you could probably buy the 50K new car at like 38. So there's like a big window there. A big gap. That's why I buy used with low miles. Very low miles. But it's just a Hellcat though, so it's a very expensive car to repair it anyway. It's kind of like a pay-to-play type thing. Gas is hundreds of dollars per month. I average like 9 miles per gallon, and parts are expensive. So I mean, it is what it is. But I didn't expect to have to do transmission now. Maybe closer to like 50 to 100K, not at 30K. That's kind of nuts. It's not a Lambo. Why not just get a Lambo if you're going to be doing that kind of mess? For 5K, no. 2016 Ram 5.7 hit me here. Nice, Mopar gang. What's going on? Caleb's got a Ram too, so. Prices are dropping for Doge a little. Yeah. But, I mean, we bought in low, so we're not worried about this. And we still do. The thing is, we never respect this line. Like I said, we never respect the 200 EMA. And we also don't like to respect the 50 mark. If we do a sell-off here, it really doesn't matter. Keep in mind, we have too much good news on our side to be doing a long-term sell-off. It just doesn't make any sense. So I don't care what small short-term sell-offs we see. If we dip to 47, whatever, we're not going to stay. Our overall trajectory is up. Long-term, because you got to zoom out sometimes and just see where we started, where we headed. Long-term, we're going in this direction. If worst case scenario, we bounce back to here and take off, alright. If we bounce back to here and take off, okay. But either way, we are going in this direction. So the goal is to buy low, and no matter what happens, you're still in profit. But yeah, we should be bouncing off here. If we don't, I'd be a little surprised, but we'll see. And again, if we don't, for those that haven't had an opportunity to buy the dip yet, if we get an opportunity, like, don't not buy it this time. If you buy a good dip close to the very bottom, so if you're buying 42 and you're close to 40, there's not much risk. Because if for some reason it starts going 30s, I mean, you sell 39, that's 3 cents. For a chance to buy at the bottom and profit all the way up to, you know, what is that? From 42 to 80 cents. You risk 3 cents for 40 cents. That's crazy risk reward ratio. But we're rejecting, so I mean, all of this is not surprising. Don't forget we have wicks down here as well. Took off. Wicks here, took off. I mean, I could move this line if it really made people more comfortable to the actual wicks here. That's our real room. And if we go under that, then it's like, what the heck's going on? But it's not like bad. Also keep in mind what I mentioned before is that typically with Doge, we have a 1 cent buffer. We like to do resistances and supports at like, instead of at 50, it's like a range, with 49 kind of being the real support. And we tend to bounce off that a lot. But who knows, we could be going down a bit. Not what we wanted to see, definitely not, but that's a good call, Madison. Good call. Yeah, I'd either buy at those marks or hold off, because buying 49 is just a little high if we are going to keep going down. So yeah, good call, 48. My numbers from yesterday were 48, 46, 75, and then 45, if you want any ideas. It was 48, 46, 75, 45, and then the 43 and below range. But we're messing around just a little bit. A little annoying to see. It's annoying to see people just selling off for no reason. But we'll see. You have to keep in mind though, that this right here wasn't really supposed to happen. This was because of hype. So our trajectory did get skewed a little bit, because we were gonna kind of do this steady upclimb thing on our own time. But we did rocket up because of Elon. So if we're cooling back off to our original trajectory, and then that's what it takes to continue, it is what it is. But keep in mind this was an artificial pump. So we can't be scared because we're selling off and getting back to where we actually were headed the first time around, if that makes sense. And if we kind of adjust our lines here, we were headed a little more like this. So probably expect a catch there. I didn't mean to do that. GME? Probably not. GME is not for me. The catch here would be somewhere in the range of like 48.5. Kind of what you were looking at, 48 to 48.5. This is where I think we should be catching this. If we're ignoring this new uptrend that we had started to form based off the hype, where we kind of started getting steep, we should be catching somewhere in here and then riding this up. Because this was initially how we were breaking out of here. See how we were trending up here on this kind of trajectory before Elon's tweet sent us and messed us up a little. That's why we're saying I want to get out of this first with no hype, so that we can stabilize, and then the hype tweets and stuff can bump us up. But I really didn't want hype here under 40, because people, you're not going to be confident that we're going to stay above 50 if we only broke 50 off hype. So it would have been nice to have broken 50 and then him send that tweet out, but it's whatever. It just kind of messed us up a little, and we're seeing the effects of that now. So I mean, we broke up, we started having this little trajectory here, but it's not holding. Now, I mean, we could hold this trend line here. I'm not saying exactly what's going to happen, but I think worst case scenario is we're correcting. Let me try and drag this over here so this never disappears. Can I F11? Oh, not like that. Um, is this a good time to invest? So basically what I was just telling Madison, um, wow, you guys typed a lot since I last looked at chat. Whoops. Wait a minute, is this wrong? Oh, I've got 3 different chats up from different streams. Whoops. Robinhood is garbage in general, so yeah, Robinhood really is garbage in general. I only continue to use Robinhood for my trading, my like executing trades, because it's just easier to do than on Webull. And I notice sometimes Webull is really annoying about filling my trades, which I think is weird. Robinhood actually fills a little better if you're doing limit, in my opinion. But their charts, other than saying buy and sell, Robinhood is pretty bad. So Webull for literally everything else. Yeah, we're just kind of watching this do its little thing here. Nothing at all to worry about. We're not making any new lows. All of our lows are still higher lows. Look, here, here, this range, here, here, and now here. We haven't made any new lows. We're not showing any signs of being bearish. We're just getting back to the lower end of our uptrend, which is nothing surprising at all. It's better to see a healthier uptrend than seeing all this spiky stuff, because that's not sustainable, and you always end up retracing back down later. So this is what we want to see. Or anywhere on this line would be even better. Yeah, music's pretty chill. Lo-fi. I had to find copyright free, because the first copyright free music I tried on my first stream, I got warned by YouTube, because apparently there were like 2 songs in there that actually weren't. So I kind of got memed by the uploader of that. Yeah, if it drops mid 40s, I'd definitely be looking to add more. Now that we kind of see, when we did it here, when we added here, this was our speculation buy, right? So we did all of our technicals, we analyzed why we were here, why we shouldn't really be coming back here, but if we get close, let's buy as close as we can before we rebound. That was our speculation buy. We did that speculation buy, and we've got confirmation that that was our reversal point, and that we were right, and that we're now looking to head up. So if we do a curl first, and then finally take off, that's your like one last chance. So yes, if we do go 45, anywhere near there, anywhere under 48, I'm probably, if it's like, I would say if it's like 45 to 48, maybe I go, if I have $100, maybe I throw 25 in. But if it's anywhere 45 to 40, that's where the rest is going for me. And then if we're wrong and we go 30s, nobody could have predicted that. Doesn't make sense. But that should not happen. Just due to it not being, Dogecoin isn't worth 30 cents right now. So that'd be some miracle if we dip below 40s. My dog is super turned. Yeah, and it probably won't. Honestly, I think if you're in pretty comfortably now at a low average, probably just sit on that $100. If you're in a couple $100 already, just probably sit on that $100. Yeah, you might, there might be a curl, or we might just take off, But if you're in a couple $100, pretty close to where we are right now, just sit on that 220, average 52. 52 is not bad. I mean, you could put it in. Yeah, Zeta is back. 52 is not a bad average. 50 would be cool, but I mean, to me, this is looking like right here. This is probably our last glances at 40s for a while. If you really want to put more in, I can't guarantee you like a good time to do it. I would just say anywhere under 50 at this point. Knowing what we know and knowing that we shouldn't be coming back to 40s, I don't know. I can't really give you advice on how to time the bottom here because we already got the bottom. And so what happens next is a little unpredictable, though it should be up. I can't predict that we do some weird curve thing and end up back in here. It's very unlikely that we would. So anytime between now and 48, like in this range, is probably, if you really want that extra 100 in, that's where it should go. If you're trying to lower your average. Yeah, I mean, if you're really not too worried about it, I mean, if you're not worried about that $100 that much, you could literally put it in right now. If your average is 40, if your average is 52, you're not losing anything by putting another $100 in and lowering your average. Even if you buy right now at high 49, that'll just bring your average down to 51, which is better. Or you could hold if you really desperately want to make sure you're getting a good dip. You can hold and pray that we do, like Madison said, curve and give you a better dip. But I don't think we will. So if it's me and I'm not worried that much about the $100 and the couple dollars that I might lose if I was a little wrong about putting the 100 in right here, I'm seeing 40s as this possibly being my last chance at 40s, and I'm just going to chance it and probably put it in now. So that's my opinion, but obviously I can't predict the future. So if we come back to 48 or 47, no way for me to know we were going to do it. Now for Madison, a little earlier was a little different because we were in this downtrend here, and I was thinking maybe we'd grab 48. And there's still potential even here to do something like this. But we're getting to a point where, we're following our trajectory to fully be out. So it just depends. Do you want to time a bottom and get a good dip? Or do you want to wait and confirm that we're out? Or if you're just trying to lower your average, like I said yesterday, at the end of the day, anywhere under 50s is a dip. So if you're not that worried about it, and you really believe if you're going to hold it for a bit and believe we're going up, then you could buy now. Madison's praying for that 48. Yeah, I don't know. We're looking decent. Looking decent to get out. 48 would be nice for you to grab that. But we're getting close here. Now what could happen is we have some trouble here and do a little pullback. It's possible. Why am I on 1 minute time frame? 2, I mean. Why does that keep happening? Alright guys, it's getting to a point where I do have to go. Technically I am working, so I've got a meeting to jump into. Can't multitask that one. So we're getting to a point here, just one last evaluation. We're still respecting this general trend. This line isn't perfect, so don't think it has to be. But this kind of inner upward trend, but we do still have this. So we don't want to ignore this. This was our original trajectory out as we broke through out of this downtrend. We got modified here when Elon tweeted, but we kind of started coming back and correcting. So we don't want to panic with dips here looking like we're getting bearish as long as we're respecting this overall line out. Now, it looks like we are absolutely getting out. We're just going to have a little bit of work to do as we have now 2 resistances to bust through. But overall, I think we're still bullish and we should be 55 today. So that's kind of just the forecast. All parts on the rocket are looking good. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stream's pretty much over, so there's no need to like at this point because I'm about to end it. But if you haven't subscribed, definitely do that before you go, so that when I start the next stream, you don't lose me, because my channel is small. So if you just search Doge, you probably won't find me. All right, I appreciate it. I'll be back streaming probably in a couple hours, just as soon as I finish up with the busy part of work. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you guys next time. And you can also follow me on Twitter in my description, 2020 Tech Reviews, for updates for when I'm not streaming. If anything crazy happens there, I will probably bump out a tweet and just like provide an update. So, all right, see you guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching.